Oh, guys, hi, good morning. Terri Hardin here with my happy Monday. If you're joining us live, thank you. If you're not and you're doing it later, please post in the comments down below or over here. I'd love to hear from you and what you like or what you'd like to hear me chat about or whatever. Woo! Daylight savings time. I was saying on my Terry's Tribe today that it didn't affect me yesterday. It was my family day yesterday, but it sure affected me today. Oh my goodness. I'm moving like a slug. It doesn't, honestly, it doesn't help that it's raining outside. I don't know if you can see it, but out here, right here, it's raining, and raining puts me in this beautiful lethargic state. So, I'm kind of, and I got to shake it loose. So did you notice on the thumbnail, I said purple to red, get lost COVID? I got to tell you, usually this is a comfy place to get out of reality and hear beautiful stories. But guys, I just could not shake. This is one of the reasons the thumbnail went up so late. You know, I posted at 1 a.m. And the reason was because I kept trying to think of something to post in the thumbnail that didn't have to do. But COVID over the weekend has been not the pandemic, but the things that are happening that happened last weekend were monopolizing my energy. And by that, I mean, I'm so excited because we are in the red tier. And I thought I was going to hold my excitement at bay, you know, because people have been crazy and done really silly things. And I don't want to get my hopes up. You know how you are when you get excited about something, but you don't want to have your hopes up. And all of a sudden you're like, well, but on Thursday, I met with my dear friend via Zoom, Savannah Newton, and she is a lovely young lady, looks like a princess, loves pink, has a really sweet little dog. And she asked me if I would come on and she could interview me about Steven Spielberg. And she was just so sweet and so much fun. We had a great time talking. But then the next day, Friday was a crazy day last week. There was the broadcast that I did, but also I had a client fly in who wanted to go to dinner, which means we were social distancing, but we weren't going to a restaurant because I won't go. So he brought food over and we social distanced and ate it. We've done this before, full disclosure, masks, everything. He's very respectful because he knows I have a high risk husband that lives in the house as well. And he brought over a beautiful thing, but I kept getting knocks at the door all day, just. And I was like, why? You know, is it Amazon delivering something? The mailman needs me to sign for something. Why is Friday the day that everybody is knocking on the door? And unfortunately, my doorbell does not ring through here to the shop. So if they knock on the door, I can't hear it. My husband's working on that so that I can hear it here in the shop. But it was crazy. But the thing that I got to tell you is that although it was quite crazy, it was lovely. Let me just do one thing here. And I know I do this and it's like so annoying. You just hate people that do this at a restaurant. So I have to apologize. Let me just say, sure. Anyway, I won't answer her. I'm getting distracted again, and that is not what I want to do. Okay, so basically, there was a reason I looked there. But anyway, so I'm getting these knocks on the door. Well, the first thing I get is this beautiful flower arrangement. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Will you look at this? Now, Savannah, she loves pink. And so is it a wonder? I mean, and she's actually made me a believer. I love pink too, but the reason I'm showing this to you today is this is a beautiful thank you. I just thought this was so sweet. It has a little card in here that thanks me for being for answering her questions on Zoom, and we talked privately a little bit beforehand, which I'll often do. It has this cute little butterfly on top. It's a really beautiful beautiful arrangement, and it's done by Jennifer Farmer. Yeah. So anyway, it's really cute, but the cute thing is Savannah wanted to create an experience for me, and she really did. These flowers are beautiful. I feel perky. I feel upbeat looking at them. I think of her because she loves pink, so I automatically think of Savannah right away. But after the flowers have gone back to heaven, she put it in this special box. So you look at the base of this box. Now look at the top. I'll be able to put this on the top of this box and it becomes a cupcake. Isn't that cute? It becomes a cute little cupcake box. So it's the whole experience. And I wanted to share this with you today because you hear me talking about experiences all the time. So Savannah, I wanted to give a little shout out to Savannah and also to Jenny for doing this beautiful flower arrangement. I'm always looking for someone who knows how to arrange flowers. I just thought this was stunning. Just thought this was so beautiful, and wanted to share it with all of you. And show you. And then again, another knock on the door, right? And I'm like, what? So another knock happens on the door. This time I'm having a nice little chat and food and things with my client. And I go to the door and this arrives. Now it didn't arrive like this, but the box was a little large and it was pouring rain as I was trying to come out here. So I decided to pull him out of here. So I have to share this with you guys. It's absolutely adorable. I'm not going to take it out of the bag. It's sealed in the bag. So I want to keep it in its little bag just because, just like the original Marshmallow Man, I don't want to get this all dirty. But look at this cute little guy. Isn't he the cutest? I mean, don't you just love him? Look. Oh, he's so cute. If I do the clear on this side, you can see they even got the profile right in this toy. You know, isn't it cute? It's so cute. But here's the thing. It came to me, and you know how you dig through the box, you want to know who gave it to you, and there's no card. There's nothing in there. And I'm like, and my client is like, what the heck? And I said, this is the generosity of all you guys. You guys are always so sweet. You're always sending me such cute, fun things. I absolutely love this. And I didn't know who it was from. I was trying to think if maybe one of you had said something about sending me something. And I have to apologize. I could not remember. So I was in a little bit of a quandary, right? And then, as luck would have it, my client started to get very sleepy. He had traveled from up north and he was a little tired. So I said to him, you know, it's probably time for you to go. You look so tired. And it's because people like us, we work A to Z. We do A to Z. So you get up, you hit the ground running, and you do some work. Even if your work is fun, it's still work. And then you have some dinner and you go to bed. Then you get up, rinse and repeat. And it just is this cycle like this. So we spoke about doing something for yourself that doesn't advance your career, so to speak. Like I could sculpt, but I want to sculpt my own stuff. But perhaps what I want to do is something different. And this is how the painting happened. Me taking this painting class. Well, my client is taking a watercolor class and he does the same thing. I think it's 1 hour, 2 hours a week. He has a teacher that teaches them watercolor, and his watercolors are really interesting. But he says it's a way to sort of defrag, to get all of that out. So COVID-19 adds extra pressure to us all, and we may not know what that pandemic is doing until we explode or we're cranky or we're extra. I found that my family days on Sunday, I'm really protective of. So I don't look at my phone and I don't talk to anyone. I stay with my husband. It's our family day. We do our thing. It usually is us waking up in the morning, and I'll bring him a really nice breakfast that I've sort of excitedly planned it for the whole week. So yesterday was eggs Benedict pizza that I did, where you make this wonderful, you take this bread, like a focaccia bread, and then you put stuff on it. And then, but I did like the sauce and everything that has to do with eggs Benedict, but it was done on this bread, and it was a pizza. And then I did strawberries and whipped cream as the fruit dessert, and he really loved it. And then he made coffee, and then we sit in a bed, the bed, the back goes up like this, and just talk about our week or our day or what we're thinking about, or what, just things that come into our head. We don't have a lot of time because we both work to sit together often. Our lunch is usually eating lunch. Yum, this is delicious. Got to go pack a bag. He goes off to the office. Or I'm working here, and we talk a lot on these broadcasts, and then I finish up and then I run and make lunch. So it's a very busy routine, not unlike your own. If you're those where I don't do a lot of, I'm very surprised when I see shows or I hear from people who are bored because all they do is sit around and stare at the walls. I have no idea what that's like. I'm one of these people that just, I can't do that. I just can't. It's just not in my, so I have to actually work hard to rest. And, but I always listen to the news. My husband doesn't listen to the news, but I do. And I wanted to tell you that, so I curled up, relaxed, and there was a message on my phone from Greg Sabaloni. Is that how I say your name, Greg? And Greg said, "Oh my goodness, I just found out a package was delivered to you. No card, no explanation from me." And I was like, yay! And he even said I could give it away, but I'm not giving it away. I love this guy, and he brings me such joy. So I have to find a place around here that he can stand, and just every time I look at him, I mean, look at that cute little happy face. And for those of you who are just joining me or have never heard me speak before, I helped build this Marshmallow Man with the performer, actor, and builder that's inside it, Billy Bryant, and a team of us built this Marshmallow Man, and I puppeteered the face with a group of puppeteers. And then I also was the temple dog, terror dog, that Sigourney Weaver turns in Ghostbusters, and was on several other teams as well as a puppetry as teams. And we sort of, float around doing different things. But so that's how this happened. Greg heard my stories about Marshmallow Man and sent me this guy. So I love him. I love him. And I just wanted to say thank you, Greg, for sending him to me. You don't have to do this, honestly. Between Savannah, Friday was one of those days where people were just loving on me. And I am not going to say that this wasn't a lovely day with my client bringing me my favorite meal, sushi. And then Greg surprising me with this mystery gift. I was sitting there going, who did this? And then Greg messaged me and told me it was him. So Greg, I promised I'd give Greg a shout out today. Shout out. Because it just touched my heart, it just touched my heart. Speaking of rest, I wanted to let you know that this Friday, I may take the day off. I haven't discussed it with my husband yet, but he has Friday off. We've got what's called a bonus day. And I'm so excited because we've gone from purple to red. Get Lost COVID. That's the title. And this is because March 15th is a big day. And the reason March 15th is a very special day is people who have they're high risk get to start getting vaccines. And my husband is high risk and he's on that list. So they've advised us to first contact our doctor, our GP, or your family doctor, to find out the best process to do to get the vaccines. The president also warned, and so did Gavin Newsom, that it's not going to happen like today. We can't just go out and say we get to do it. You could try that, but we've got to make an appointment, and we've got to see what kind of hoops we've got to jump through. At one point, they said they weren't going to ask you for medical records, but that would be crazy, because then everybody would feign a health condition, and then you're taking it from people who really have that extenuating health condition. So I think they're going to have to do some sort of validation, maybe a doctor's note that says, I certify that this is high risk, this person is high risk, and then he can get the vaccine. But we're very excited. I'm really excited, because when he gets the vaccine, I'm going to be, I tried to just sort of take this at face value, but I'm excited. This is not a harsh reality. This is an exciting reality. So I think it fits here today. It's joyful. Also, restaurants opened over the weekend, and get this, movie theaters opened. What? Movie theaters in my little town have been closed for over a year, and they announced that they were going to be open. And I was like, oh my gosh, now am I going? No, I can't go until I have a vaccine, if I'm vaccinated and my husband is vaccinated. Then we can do what we saw on the news on Friday, which was we saw people gather together, not a big group, but an intimate family group gather together and actually get to hug and kiss each other because they had all been vaccinated. And that got me. That really gave me hope. And I don't know, I'm sure it did you too, if you got to see it. And if you haven't, Google it, because the family they showed, the mom and dad, were in their 90s, and the kids were in their 60s, like me. So it was really, really touching. And then I also got a call from my father over the weekend. He gets to visit my mother in the Convalescent Hospital once he gets his second vaccine, and he waits that day duration, basically light seriously at the end of the tunnel. And I just found myself going through the whole thing, because I really see this getting taken care of. We keep doing what we're doing. We're gonna get this thing. We keep being a team. We're gonna send it packing, which I really like that. Just send it packing. Now, I don't know what normal's gonna look like. I have to be honest. I don't know what will be in store for us once we reach that herd immunity level. What are we going to look like? I've had many write and tell me that if they're sick, they'll probably wear a mask, because they've noticed that they haven't been as sick or not sick at all, period. End of story. Let's not just talk COVID. Illness as overall. That's not such a bad idea. In the Asian countries, they do that automatically. And I think it's really nice that they do that to take care of us. They're not really protecting themselves. They're protecting the rest of you from their sickness or their cold. It's a little quiet signal that I'm not quite 100%. Just keep your distance a little bit. And I think that's great. So it's exciting. Restaurants are going to be able to do indoor dining. However, here in California, most people like to eat outdoors anyway. In fact, they were saying it kind of felt like a little Paris, a little European, that we have these outdoor areas. So many were curious if many of these restaurants could keep some of their outdoor dining areas for a while, because it really does feel good to be, al fresco, if you will, outside with your coffee and kind of pretend you're in Paris, since we can't go to Paris. This is one of my favorite things about Paris, is sitting outside and having I like cafe au lait or cafe creme. So you have your cafe creme and your croissant, and you sit there and you just people watch. It's wonderful. So around here, you would have that opportunity So the question with restaurants is, are we going to be able to still have that outdoor as well? For a while they will, because their indoor is limited capacity. But just to see the overall joy in people after going to the red tier, after being in purple for so long, it was just overwhelmingly wonderful. And also, the other thing that has happened that has never happened before is Los Angeles County, that's where I'm living, and Orange County, home of Disneyland. We both went together. We jumped the broom, as I wrote in the description. We jumped the broom together. These two counties held hands, jumped the broom together into the red tier. This is extremely important. The reason it is because when you go to downtown Disney to Taste of Disney, to experience Taste of Disney, and you're in a purple tier and you go to the red tier, you could be spreading the virus. There's a very good chance. And this is what happened to Orange County the last time. They went red for a while and had to back off. Is it because people from everywhere were going down to downtown Disney and trying to social distance the best they could? But come on, people forget. We're not used to, stay away 6 feet, We're so used to hugging our friends and sitting in close and having this conversation. So we forget, and it just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And I've seen it a lot. So it's nice that we're both at the same level. And what our governor said was that because of so many having got the vaccine, a lot of us have not gotten it because the vaccines are having trouble getting to us due to weather and a bunch of other stuff. But it'll happen. The president said it's leveling out, and that in May, everyone will be able to go from ages, what did he say, 17 to infinity and beyond. You can have that vaccine should you want it. And so that's not far away, guys. This is, what are we, mid-March? It's March 15th. But the exciting thing is my husband is on the list now, so at least he can get it. He's saying he doesn't want to get it unless I can get it. So that could be a little, so we're going to talk to my doctor and see what she says. That could be a little dicey because I really want him to get it. I'll feel better. He's going out to the office every other week or every couple of weeks, and I worry. I try not to worry, but you just never know. He's very, very careful. But at least, it doesn't mean once you have the vaccine to, caution to the wind and not be careful. But as you've seen, people gather that have been vaccinated and they can take the mask off. They don't have to social distance and they can hug each other. It really is a light at the end of the tunnel moment. I think it gives us all hope. And that's one of the reasons today I wanted to do, I wanted to talk about that at the top of my hour or the top of my 3, depending how we go. Because I think it's just so exciting. Movie theaters opening up. If you're someone who wants to venture out into the movie theater world, you now have that opportunity to see it on the big screen. And it just means you can get out and see family more. And the big excitement for me was that my dad is going to see my mom. He's not seen my mom in over a year. She's in a convalescent hospital. We saw each other via a Zoom type call, which just made my family so happy. But he's not got to see her face to face, and that's his partner. So he's really excited to go, but I had to remind him to be sure and wait that 15 days after his second vaccine, which he gets today. So he's going to have to put it off just a little more, but it's going to happen. And then they were both excited because they said, Terri, you can come too. And I was like, no, not till I get vaccinated, because it can happen so quickly. You can be super safe and still get it if you're unprotected. And so you have to do the protocols. I do the protocols. I stay at home for most of the time. If I go somewhere, I go one place and come back home. I don't like tour. And the reason is because I've got somebody who is high risk at home. I've mentioned this before, but he's going to get to have the vaccine. And then I know I'll feel a lot better about him actually. But right now we're having this little, I want to make sure he gets the vaccine, and he wants to make sure that I get it. He just doesn't think it's a good idea that I don't get to get it too. So we'll see. We'll talk to our doctor and see what our doctor says about it. I have something that is quite, I have, in my family, we have, I have a medication that I take that regulates my blood pressure. That's the only medication that I have right now. So will it work? Will it not? We'll see. I certainly don't want to take a vaccine away from somebody who really needs it. So it may be that they say, well, Terri, why don't you wait until this new wave of vaccines comes in, and there's a plethora of vaccines coming in, and then we'll get you vaccinated. So that could be the thing too. We'll see. But the CDC just advised us to check with our doctor first and then go from there. Now, my dad, that's exactly what he did. He has a doctor that he goes to see through the veterans. He's a veteran. And so all he did was call up the VA, and they handled it. And so he did not go into these giant lines that you've been seeing on TV. He did not go through any of that. He simply went to his hospital, the VA hospital, and they took care of him. So there are places that do that. And so that's why the CDC said, if you've got a doctor, go and chat and see what your doctor has to say. They'll guide you on this. And then if you don't have guidance, we call that number that the CDC has given us. We can call it, or we can email them. So cool. I automatically emailed my town and said, hey, there's a couple of areas that I want that have not been opened for business that I need to take care of business. Like I have these electronics that need to be destroyed properly so that they don't become landfill. And our recycling center hasn't been open for over a year. So I wrote to them asking them about it, and they gave me a different email and phone number. I can check about that. So things are opening up is what I'm saying. How cool things are opening up. And it's exciting. It's very exciting, which is one of the reasons that Friday I may take the day off, and I will post by Wednesday if I'm going to do that. Okay. So look for a big post. Maybe I'll do a little video or something, but I may take the day off just to be with my husband and get stuff done. Yeah. So that's what's exciting, is that I see light at the end of the tunnel. I wanted to say, think of it as a marathon. Don't do things. Don't cut corners. Whenever we cut corners in anything, the results are not good. So let's not cut corners. Let's do our due diligence, because we've done the major stretch of it. So now it's just a matter of going the rest of that. And that's doggone exciting. Yes, indeed. So, okay. So that's the exciting point. Meanwhile, as I segue into something else, if you haven't had a chance to catch the AMA last Friday, I did walk you through the building of a mermaid. So you're welcome to watch that video on the YouTube channel. You can watch that video and be a part and check it out. It just talks to you about the importance of creating an experience like I showed you Savannah Newton's beautiful bouquet that Jenny Farmer made. It's just that whole enveloping, and it just creates so much more fun. And actually, forgive me. Did I mention to you I have a cousin that delivers groceries to me? So sometimes I have to keep the phone nearby because I can't hear the doorbell, and my husband might be not close to hear it. So I just check occasionally, and forgive me, to make sure that my cousins isn't standing out in the rain with my grocery order. He's been so sweet. He's been doing this for easily 6 months. And it really does help, because I think I mentioned that when I go into a grocery store, I'm borderline. When I see somebody who's not wearing a mask, I have a problem. I have a real problem. And sometimes I act before the brain kicks in. So as a result, I've avoided the supermarket and places where I could react appropriately, but in an inappropriate way. There's nothing wrong with saying, excuse me, put that over your nose, please. But I'm not guys, maybe you know what I'm talking about. I'm not calm enough. I'm not calm enough to do this. I really get offended. I mean, it just wells something up inside me that's not cool. So my cousin said, don't worry about it. I'll bring you groceries, you and your husband, since he's high risk and everything. Let's just not make this a bad thing for you, a difficult thing for you. Let's just be real and do this right. So he also says it gives him the opportunity to talk to me, once a week, which I think is very sweet. So he brings me groceries, and that's pretty cool. So, okay. So just give me a minute. I'm going to pour myself a cup of tea here, and we'll talk about some fun stuff. Hopefully fun stuff I can come up with. What? I have no idea. I did taxes this weekend. My taxes take a little longer because I don't have one W-2 or what they call a 1099. That's a form when you do freelance work. I have about 15 to 20, which means I have to have somebody kind of help me and keep track with me. Also delays me a little bit because I can't. 1099s are mailed out by the 31st of January. The company is supposed to record them and mail them out by the 31st of January, but that never happens. And with the pandemic, so if you're a smart person doing your taxes, you wait till March, or you get them done to a certain point, and then you file in March. Or get them to your CPA in early March, which is what we're doing today. We're actually sending them off today, so that he has plenty of time to get under the wire of by April 15th, because I really want to by April 15th. I want to do it. I don't want to have an extension filed. So my husband and I are very close. We're very, very close. I mean, we're so close. All we have to do is scan and send them to my CPA. Then we're done. So we did that this weekend. We just buckled down and we got it done. And we're so excited that we got it done. So now we're going to finish that up today. But we took the entire weekend to do it, with the exception of Family Day. On Family Day, what we do is we curl up, we relax, we put the dog on our lap, and we usually talk. Sometimes we might film, but you got to remember that for us, filming is work. So we try not to work. So a lot of times what we do, under normal circumstances, we'll go out and have a nice lunch. We might go see the ocean. We might go to a movie, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do something fun and entertaining. But since we're on lockdown, we tend to do things that are not involved with our work that are kind of fun. And this time, my husband has voted for the Academy stuff. So I think I mentioned to you that my husband's an art director, as well as a cameraman, and does production and edits and does all kinds of cool stuff. But he also is an art director. He's a member of the Art Directors Guild with the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. And he had to vote. So he has voted. I have not yet voted, because with the Screen Actors Guild, our votes have to be in by the end of this month. And there is a lot of content that I have to review and see. So I have been going through the list of things that I have to see. And I think I've gotten pretty close. So in this phone, I listed all of the movies that the Screen Actors Guild told me that I had to see. Now, here's the thing about the Screen Actors Guild. When we merged with AFTRA, the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, we're now SAG, Screen Actors Guild, -AFTRA, okay? American Federation of Television and Radio Actors. Yeah. Okay. So because we merged into those two, making two unions into one, which is a really good idea, actually, there are the downsides. I'm not even going to lie to you. There are downsides to it, but there is a lot of upsides because one union strong is very important. But because of this, we not only do films and we also do television. And that makes it big. So categories we have are best performance by an ensemble in a film, in a drama, best performance by an ensemble in a dramatic, or best dramatic performance, or best comedic performance, or best ensemble performance TV, stuff like that. So as I look here at my list, outstanding performance by a cast in a motion picture. All right. So the ones that are up for the Screen Actors Guild are the Five Bloods, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Minari, One Night in Miami, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. I've seen them all, except for some reason, One Night in Miami, doesn't matter what time of the day I watch it, it has some sort of soothing, I don't know, but I always fall asleep. So it has nothing to do with the film. It's just very comforting and soothing. And so I will try to watch it first thing in the morning. I'm going to have a coffee and I'm going to work hard to watch it. But I've seen them all. And then the next thing we have to see is a male actor in a leading role. So with the Academy Awards, Best Actor, right? So this is male actor in a leading role, Sound of Metal. And if you haven't seen this movie, it's really good. If you're like me and you don't like that loud kind of music, when the movie opens, that's the way it starts. It starts with this sort of punk kind of, if you haven't seen it. And it's too much, but that only happens for the front of the movie. So sit it out. And it's actually a very good movie. And the actor Riz Ahmed, I think is how you say his name, is really, really good. He's really, really, really good. So that's good. Then you've got, of course, Chadwick, Boseman, who just pulls out all the stops in Ma Rainey's. If you haven't seen this performance, it's the movie for me, quite frankly, seemed a bit theatrical. I'm not real good, just as me. I'm not saying the movie's not good because the movie's really good, but I have a little problem when it's like a play that's been filmed. This is the way this movie sort of felt with me in some areas, but Chadwick sort of doesn't make me feel that way. And his performance is amazing. Isn't this actor just off the chain when you found his history and then we lost him last year, which was devastating to all of us, but he just worked right up until the end. He's just a real amazing human being and supportive of his other actors and supportive of other people and supportive of causes, and he just filled his days and he just didn't stop until he went to get his wings. And I am just this film is worth it to see this performance. It will break your heart. So don't watch it before bed because you'll be serious. It's a very strong packs a punch. Let me just say that. Anthony Hopkins in The Father. I just got to see this a couple weeks ago. It's really good. But I think there are other performances that are gonna land the award. But it's always great to see Anthony Hopkins. This particular one is kind of a soft movie. And if you've ever had somebody with memory issues, it could be a little bit for you if you have a family member like that. So just know that, Then Gary Oldman in Mank, that's amazing. He's amazing. It's wonderful to watch Gary Oldman. Yeah, he's amazing in it. And I really like it. It's hard. This is why I'm waiting till the 31st, because I want to make sure I see all the movies. And then I've made little notes about each movie. Not every person who votes does this. Okay. For one thing, if you're with the Academy, you get so many movies. I don't even know how every year when you're voting, you try to keep your head fresh. there were some Academy members who told me they don't. They just wait for the cream to rise to the top and they watch those movies because they're very busy. But I think that does a disservice to movies who have been nominated. I understand if your job is like that, if your work is busy, and I'm really busy, you can't do anything else. It's better than not voting. But I think you miss out on some movies that could be really earth-shattering. You never know. But hopefully those earth-shattering movies rise to the top and it covers you anyway. But yeah, it's really good. And Minari, I absolutely loved. This is a little film that is foreign, and oh my God, it is so heartfelt. It's so warm. It's very tender. And in a time when things are kind of aggressive and rough, I highly recommend Minari because it's really, it's one of my favorites this year. Then we have, let me just go to my next page here. What I did is I just copied every single one on my phone so I could tell you step by step what I've seen and what I haven't seen. The next thing is Outstanding Performance in a Female Lead. And the nominees are Amy Adams in Hillbilly Eulogy, or is it Elegy? I say eulogy, but it could be elegy, Elegy, however you pronounce that. Honestly, didn't work for me. Okay. I love Amy. I think she's amazing, but I think she got overshadowed by her supporting actress nominee, Glenn Close. I think Glenn Close rips up the screen with her performance. And although they're not competing, it's when you get the whole enchilada, to quote a phrase, whenever Glenn Close is on there, you're just like, whoa, I love a good performance, and she really brings it. Not that Amy doesn't, but I think sometimes when you're a lead character, this is not to make excuses, but sometimes when you're a lead character, you carry the film, and there's not a lot of leeway for levels. If you get to be a lead character and you get all these levels that you can do as well, and then the salt and pepper characters add to it, you've got a great dish. In this case, I felt Amy's character was a little bit too cookie cutter, which is not correct. Forgive me, Amy, you're watching. This is not what I mean. I mean, it just didn't really tax you that much, maybe, is what I'm saying. Because as an actress, I think your performance in Doubt was like mind-blowing. You were so good. So you've got it in you. It's just I don't think that this particular venue is one that really shows your chops as well. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to say. Viola Davis and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I think she does a fabulous job, but then this woman, tears it up all the time. I do have to say, though, that there's a couple of other contenders you got this year, my love, that are really chewing it up too, and that would be Frances McDormand in Nomadland. If you could see Nomadland, guys, you got to see it, okay? Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. See this film, okay? This is a must. Not only is she amazing in it, is it different and unique, but the people who surround her are a mix of actual nomads and actors. I love when a movie does this well, and this movie is just really fantastic, but a little harder to see because I think it's more independent. It might be, I don't know why it's hard to see, but I was really challenged to see this. I had to dig I kept asking the Guild, when do I get to see it? When do I get to see it? And they're going, it's coming, because I had heard so much about it and I really wanted to see it. And then when I saw it, it's just amazing. It's just really, really, really good. And I think she's super strong. So I kind of think this might be a top contender in my book. If I was gonna, I think right now that, but it's not easy because you also have Vanessa Kirby in Pieces of a Woman, and this woman also does an amazing job in this movie. Pieces of a Woman is a very heartfelt movie, one that many of us can identify with, and it hits us in the heart. And she does just a beautiful job. It's very internal. And I think I like that. Sometimes for actors, it's a lot harder to do internal than external. Are you angry? Rah! And you're angry. And are you happy? Whee! But when you have to be more internal, kind of like the Pieta, Michelangelo's Pieta, where Mary is holding the dead Jesus in her lap, and it's all internal. It's a sculpture that just tells a story so well. And as an actor, if you can pull that off, and she does a great job. And then wrapping up that list of women is Carrie Mulligan. And Carrie, boy, this is a great little movie. Promising Young Woman. You got to check it out. Oh, she's good. She's so good in it. And there's others that surround her that are also very, very good in it. Just, oh, good. It's a good group. It's going to be hard to make that choice, which is, again, while I'm waiting until the 31st. Outstanding. And then I'm pulling them up so I can read them. Outstanding by a male actor in a supporting role. Bring you to Chadwick again for Da 5 Bloods. He does do a great job there, but I think he kind of overshadows his supporting actor role by his regular actor role in Ma Rainey's. I just really love that. Sacha Baron Cohen, wow. Whoo! You know, Sasha's an interesting cat because he's up for the Trial of the Chicago 7, which is a fabulous movie. I just thought this movie was really good also. But Sasha is an amazing actor. And I was first introduced to him, and I don't know if it was you two, with the Borat films, which I don't really like, I don't really get, and However, this last one I watched the making of, and it's really terrifying when Sasha talks about what they actually do. He's putting, for his mission, it's not necessarily safe. And so he's putting himself and others in danger. And that was a bit scary for me. I'm not so sure how I feel about that. I'm leaning towards not really liking it that much. But this last film, the actress who plays the daughter in it is so good. And she, wow, she's courageous and he's courageous and it's a crazy film. And do I like it? No, I really didn't like it. But I do have to salute them in staying true to their art form. But I was worried about them. I was worried for their safety. They put themselves in situations that can be seriously dangerous. And I was afraid. I was afraid with the Borat films. But now if we get back to Sasha acting in another film, like the Chicago 7, that guy is a really amazing actor. He really can tear up the screen. He's so good, and he's really good in this movie. I also loved him in Sweeney Todd as the kind of flamboyant barber. I guess I don't remember if he was what he was, but that blue coat. All I can remember is he was a peacock because he had this beautiful blue coat and he strutted around. And I thought he was good in the film, but he really is. He really has a range that I didn't quite know before. And the interesting thing about him is I actually went this year, with the Screen Actors Guild, you can go and you can see these actors in person talk about their films. Okay. So one of my favorite ones was Meryl Streep and Amy and Viola and Meryl, everybody together. I think I said Meryl Streep. I love Meryl Streep, so her name needs to be said twice. But on Doubt, they were all sitting up in front of us as actors, talking to us actor to actor about doing that film. And I remember Amy sitting on the stage and saying one of the things she was really grateful for was that habit. I don't know if you've seen Doubt, but it's a great movie if you get the chance to see it. And she had the habit that did this. And she said it really protected her because it was one of the first films she was with these major Academy Award winning people. And when she got a little flustered, she just would turn a certain way so she couldn't see them. It was like blinders. It was a great story. These are the great stories that you get to hear. Well, because of the pandemic, many of them are occurring on Zoom now. And what I really like is some of them are pre-recorded, and then you just hit a little button, you're invited, you have a code and everything, and they send it to you, and then you get to see it. You don't have to schedule it like you would if they were live. If they're live, you have to RSVP, then you have to go, and you got to be quick on the trigger, almost like a Disney race, because if it's someone if it's someone that people, I'm not saying that some of these people like, but let's say it's Clint Eastwood, which I missed out on. But let's say it's Clint Eastwood. You got to be quick if you want to hear him be interviewed live, sitting up there in front of you. I was nice and fast for Jack Nicholson, and Jack Nicholson talked about Bucket List, and he was just one of the funniest people. He was just wonderful to hear speak. Also, Kirk Douglas. We got to actually hear Kirk Douglas speak live in front of us, and then he gave us all a copy of his memoir. It was a really great night. It was such an exciting. I just love Kirk Douglas, and it was great to be able to meet him and hear his words and everything. So these are great for actors in the Screen Actors Guild. These great opportunities, but because of the pandemic, all of these are happening on Zoom now, and some of them are good, and some of them are pretty awful. But you get to watch a little bit of the movie and then be interviewed. So this week, Nomadland, which I told you is one of my favorites, Frances and her group of actors and non-actors are going to speak on this movie and what it was like to make it and what it was like to do it. And I'm very, very excited to be a part of that, because anytime you're bringing in non-actors, people who are actual nomads in this case, it's going to be an interesting, it's the basis for some really cool stories. So I will share that with you once I've seen it. I'll share a couple of tidbits they have to share, and it will be a lot of fun, but that's what I love about it. So during the Zoom on the trial of the Chicago 7, Sasha really surprised me. He's a very, very humble man. That doesn't really come off if you watch Borat. You think he's kind of a nut and kind of like too much, because many comedians can be too much. They can be a lot in your face, but Sasha seems more pensive, more quiet, he's very thoughtful. And on this interview, he said how thrilled he was to be working with some of the people that he got to work next to in Chicago 7. He just felt it was an honor that the casting director chose him to be in this group of amazing actors. He just said it was just a wonderful experience to be with such talent. And that really was lovely to hear him share that. So he's gone up a lot in my book as an actor. He really impresses me. And in this movie, he really brings it. So I love seeing teams work together, being a puppeteer mostly. I love seeing teams coming together and really making the production work. And in this film, Chicago 7, I think they really do it. Now, if you have opinions that are contrary to me, go ahead and put it in the comments here, guys, because a good debate is wonderful. Just don't get personal. Yeah. That's personal is not a debate. Personal is an attack. Okay, so don't do that. Just if you have a disagreement, disagree, but do it do it with respect. That's what I wanted to say. Do it with respect. Okay. In addition to performance and a male actor in a supporting role, we have Judas and the Black Messiah. This one I have not yet seen. I've had to be careful because my husband saw it once. It was very difficult for him to see, so he doesn't want me to watch it while he's off. I'm going to have to watch it while he's at work. So Judas and the Black Messiah is one that I have to see. And it's really important that I see it, because it's not fair when you're looking at all these people and you go, wow, I saw The Five Blood, Chicago 7, this one and this one, but I didn't see Black Messiah, and then you vote. I know sometimes when you're busy, but I want to see everything so everybody gets an equal, because if I was an actor and I was fortunate enough to be getting an award, Screen Actors Guild, Academy, whatever the awards are, Golden Globe or whatever, I would hope that the people voting would look at everything and vote for me based on the ability was definitely what they felt was a standout performance. So I really take this a little bit too seriously, my husband says, but he's glad I do. Okay, so after Judas is The Little Things. Oh, guys, this is Jared Leto in The Little Things. Whoo-hoo, this movie. If you haven't seen this movie, you've got to see this movie. It has, if you like a good roller coaster ride, maybe you don't like a good roller coaster ride like for real because it gets you motion sickness or vertigo or whatever. This is an emotional and it's just a really cool ride. Let me just say that. I really love this movie, and it was cool. I have to tell you, most of the movies, I can't say I didn't like this time. I'm trying to think of one that I saw that I was kind of like, That is probably Hillbilly, because I thought it was a little bit off. And the saving is definitely Glenn Close. Yeah, it just didn't hit me. So if I was going to say, so it's not, anybody who makes a movie is really a winner. But the point is that I don't want it to be all about winners. I've got to make a decision. I can't pick 5, 5, 5. I got to pick one. So that's what that is. And finally, One Night in Miami, Leslie Odom Jr., One Night in Miami. And again, that's another movie that I've got to watch again because I keep falling asleep. It's not fair. It's just not fair to poor little Miami. It's not their fault. I just should not watch this movie at night because for some reason, it's got a lot of warm, round tones, and I just go. So it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Finally, we have, let me see what we've got here. We've got outstanding performance by a female actor in a supporting role. And that's where you have Maria Baklova in Borat. And man, she really tears it up. In these Borat films, these people are playing characters that interact with real people, but some of the situations are quite dangerous. Okay. So they really kind of push the envelope. And those of you who like Borat movies, I'd love for you to talk to me about those a little bit. What it is that keeps you compelled. Me, I was too scared for them. And after hearing how close they came to some real danger, it made me more scared. So they're not my cup of tea, but I did sit through the whole thing and experience it, even though I was like, it's a little scary. Glenn Close. So here she is. I think she does a great job. Olivia Colman for the father. She does a great job. Yoo Jung-yoon for Minari. And Helena Zingel for News of the World. Now, News of the World is an interesting film. It's got Tom Hanks in it. How many of you believe that when Tom Hanks touches something, it usually gets into the award lineup? It didn't this year. Really surprised me that it didn't. I think Tom Hanks did a fabulous job in News of the World. And I think she does a pretty good job. But again, I can only pick one. So I'm going to be looking at them listing. And let me tell you when I vote what happens. I look to see the performance, their body of work. And do they bring something they haven't brought in the past to the role? Now, they can't always do that. But in the case of Chadwick Boseman, that Ma Rainey's, when you see his performance in that, you're going to be blown away. It is so different from anything else I've seen him do. It's just pow. So you know who I'm voting for in that category because it just knocked me flat. It really did. I was not expecting it. So I just think it's a really great film. So that's what I gotta do. I look for, so for example, let's take, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this to you before, but let's take, well, yeah, this is always fun to just stare at me going, let me think about what I was going to say. I think watching Clint Eastwood's body of work is very impressive to me, where he was kind of a sassy character like Blondie and Dirty Harry, where he's this tough guy. And then he carries over into things like Unforgiven, where he's kind of poking fun at himself. And then he does these really tough old guy roles, like The Mule, which I absolutely thought The Mule was amazing. And, and, Gran Torino. I was just blown away by just this going from this tough guy to a curmudgeon guy, kind of a racist curmudgeon guy. Well, kind of, he was a racist curmudgeon guy that actually comes to the aid, and he's just a dude. And I was very, very impressed by that. So I kind of like these arcs, right, that I see people do, and it's very impressive to me. Okay, so as I mentioned, that's the films, but now we're talking about a cast in a drama series. The drama series are Better Call Saul. Love this series. Bridgerton, which I thought was amazing. The Crown, which, wow, did you see Gillian Anderson in The Crown, guys? If not, just take a minute, go on Netflix and grab the Margaret Thatcher episode. Just grab one. You will be blown away by her. I cannot see her in there. I cannot see her in it. I mean, a little bit, but the voice, the manner, oh, she does. She's so good. I found her just directing my attention every time she came on the screen because she was so strong and compelling as Margaret Thatcher. She's really good. I don't really know if she's exactly Margaret Thatcher, but oh my goodness, I saw Thatcher from what I know, which is not a lot. I just thought she did a fabulous job in this Crown. So if the Crown isn't your bit, I want to urge you to go check out her performance because it's really good. And then there's there's also Lovecraft Country. That's the one I haven't seen yet. I have not seen Lovecraft Country. That's another one that I've got to see. So again, to do it right by it. And then Ozark, which I love Ozark, but I haven't watched it in a while. This is the time when somebody who doesn't watch a lot of television and films has to, if I'm going to do my job correctly. So that's, but I'm excited about seeing Ozark because I love Jason Bateman in it, but I just haven't had a chance to see it. And of course, male actor in a drama series, Jason Bateman has been nominated for Ozark. Then, of course, Sterling K. Brown, once again, for This Is Us. Josh O'Connor for The Crown. I think he did a great job. Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul. Just keeps delivering. And Regé-Jean Page in Bridgerton. Didn't you just love Bridgerton? What an amazing sort of Pride and Prejudice kind of theme. Just beautiful, just strong, and wow, just so much to look at. And I also love the fact it was diverse without feeling like they were, putting people in because of their color and it looked like they did it for the acting, and it was really wonderful to experience. Outstanding performance by a female. Now, here's the thing about the female actors, guys. They just went gaga over two things, The Crown and Ozark. So this is one of the reasons I've got to watch Ozark, because the two women in Ozark they're talking about is Julia Garner, who doesn't love her anyway, Laura Linney, again, who doesn't love her anyway, for Ozark. Both of them are for Ozark, so that's what they're telling me to look for, along with Jason Bateman when I finally get to see it. But Gillian Anderson, Olivia Colman, and Emma Corrin for The Crown. So 5 nominations, 2 films. So I ended up watching a lot of The Crown. Lindsay and I watched a lot of The Crown yesterday. We watched the last season of The Crown so that I could vote properly. So I watched a lot of that. And the girl who plays Princess Di, I don't remember which one of these actresses it is, forgive me, but the one who plays Princess Di is looks fabulous and does a fine job, but she's not as strong as Jillian. I'm sorry. And isn't it a shame that you have to compare these performances? Wonderful performances, but when it comes to voting and this stuff, you gotta pick. You gotta pick. You just gotta suck it up and pick, which is why I watch them all. Okay, and finally, and then I know some of you may be like, "Ugh, this is getting a little bit tedious." This is what I'm talking about, guys. This is one of the reasons that if you're going to be a member and you're going to be a voting member, it's not like you watch that you don't, you put it off and you put it off, and you don't. I've got to really focus on watching these if I want to do a good job, and I'm about details, as you know, so it's important out of respect to do this. And finally, outstanding performances by a cast would be Dead to Me, The Flight Attendant, which if you haven't seen this is so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's good. You get a chance to see that. Yeah, Run, Don't Walk. It is nothing like the title. It's about a flight attendant, but it's so much deeper. I mean, doesn't Flight Attendant sound like kind of a fun, silly, flighty title? It's not. It's really, really, it's good. The Great. I did look at The Great. My husband didn't like The Great in the beginning. It's very violent, and it has characters that you really can't attach yourself to yet. But we watched it yesterday for Family Day. He and I watched it, but we watched the latter half of it. It's kind of weird because it's being shown on Hulu. And Hulu, if you happen to have Hulu and you're subscribing, it's a series, right? So you have episodes. It's episodic. It has on Hulu, it has certain episodes, and my code shows me other episodes, and only a couple are the same. It's so weird. So they don't necessarily give you all the episodes on either platform of the Hulu platform. There's a Hulu platform you all see, and then there's an FYC, for your consideration, platform, and I have to put a code in. But it's so weird because I ended up bouncing back and forth between the two platforms so that I could see the whole series. Because for me, I want to see how, it's outstanding performance by a cast in a series. So I don't want to jump around. I want to see it in order, chronological order. And it was just weird. I learned this with Doc Martin. I used to watch Doc Martin on Netflix. My husband had seen Doc Martin. I had never heard of Doc Martin a few years back. It's so good. And my husband kept telling me about Louisa. She's the leading lady in Doc Martin series. Her dad, and I kept saying her dad, because I was watching straight Netflix. And my husband said, "Yeah, there's an episode with her father." And I was like, "I haven't seen that episode." And he goes, "Of course you have." And he went through Netflix and he realized that episode was missing. So you can sometimes you can go to the public channels, because a lot of times it's a Masterpiece Theater thing that they show. Or if you have access to the BBC, it can be on there as well. But my husband subscribed to Acorn, and we watched Acorn, and I found out there were lots of things that had confused me in the series because those episodes just weren't there. So I finally got to see the Louisa Father episode, and that's what, alerted me that what they're showing me may not be the whole ball of wax. So when it's a series and they're saying outstanding performance by a cast in a series, 2 or 3 does not the series make. So I think they do a disservice to the series. So I want to see the whole series. So The Great is great. Schitt's Creek, honestly, guys, cannot get behind this. I have tried to watch the first season. People love it. My mother-in-law loves it. I cannot not my cup of tea. And that's just the way things are. I love the actress. I love the actors in it. Both of them. Big fan. Just don't like this venue. So I won't be voting for that. I will tell you that I've talked about Ted Lasso before. Ted Lasso was this quiet, shall I say, dark horse victory that I'm not a soccer person. It's based around soccer. And it is one of, like I said before, one of the greatest series I've seen in a long time. And it's got my vote. It absolutely blew me away. I really want it to win. I love this series. I watch it over and over and over again because I don't want to lose it. Once March 31st comes, my code is no longer good. So I don't own Showtime, and I don't own Apple TV, and I don't own HBO. All of those I don't own. So the doors close, the iron doors close and lock me out. So I just keep watching Ted over and over and over and over and over again because I really want to get as much of it as I can because I just love the series and I'm so excited they got 2 more seasons. It might just make me subscribe to Apple TV at least long enough to binge watch Ted Lasso because I just love it. So why did I go into this long soliloquy for you for over an hour? It's because I know many of you out there like these award shows, People's Choice, Golden Globes, Academy Awards, Screen Actors Guild Awards, Writers Guild Awards, Directors Guild Awards. Some of these things you're really into. Maybe you're into it because of the clothing and the dresses, and I don't know what's going to happen this time. Grammy Awards, forgive me, guys, forgive me. Music, yes, the Grammys. But behind the scenes, back of the house, is this voting process. So the way it works is that each division, like Academy and Screen Actors Guild, usually have a nominating committee. That nominating committee goes through hundreds of films that are submitted for awards. I don't know how it worked for the pandemic, but I've been on the nominating committee before, and it was a balance of getting DVDs sent to you, but also you had to go see these films. And so I remember the last time I was on the nominating committee for the Screen Actors Guild, in about 3 months, I saw over 550 films. So then you have to put in your vote on which ones you think should be the nominees for the Screen Actors Guild Award, and that's how you come down to this list. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of dedication. They don't have us do it every year because they pick different actors in the Screen Actors Guild. They pick different people at different times to be a part of these committees. And it's lovely. It's a really honor to be doing this. And I take, like I said, I don't just go, I love it. I love getting the screeners. My husband gets different screeners than I do, meaning the DVDs in the mail sometimes. But a lot of these places like Warner Brothers, Showtime, HBO, they just put us a link. Oh, and I forgot. There's one more, and it wasn't in here, which is weird because I know it's up for nomination. Oh, wait, let's see. Where is it? It looks like maybe I didn't finish. Let's see. Here we go. Let me just. Okay, so we have Best Actor in a Series, which is The Great for Nicholas Hoult, Dan Levy in Schitt's Creek. I love Dan Levy. Didn't you just love him in Splash? And then you have Eugene Levy, Schitt's Creek, or was it Eugene? Anyway, they're great. All of them are good. It's just not in that. Jason for Ted Lasso. Love him. And I have not yet seen Ramy, R-A-M-Y. I have not yet seen that. So I got to see that. And then a female in a comedy is Dead to Me. I watched Dead to Me. It left me kind of flat, honestly. It was a little not so easy. I don't know. It didn't resonate. So Dead to Me, Kaylee in The Flight Attendant, like I said, I love this. And then 2 more for Schitt's Creek. So you've got, again, this is going to be a little easier for me because Dead to Me and Schitt's Creek didn't resonate. So guess who I'm voting for? Also, I'm sorry, I forgot these guys because this is really important. You've got The Queen's Gambit. Have you seen this? This is an amazing film. And that girl is not only beautiful, but those intense looks. This movie really makes chess, makes you want to play chess, which is pretty good if you don't play chess, which I don't. And then, of course, see, this is why I'm sorry I did not finish this because Hamilton's up, guys. David Diggs is up for Hamilton. Hugh Grant is up for The Undoing. I saw this again, but Ethan Hawke for The Good Lord Bird. Now I have to put a disclosure here. I know it's at 1 hour and 15 minutes, but I have to put a disclosure. I got Ethan and James Franco mixed up. And if Ethan and James Franco are watching, my humblest apologies. Not that you look the same. Honestly, you really don't. It's not because you look the same. It's usually I'm very visual, and it's because your performances in the past have left me kind of cold. So Franco in the I can't remember the movie, but the one where he does the character from The Room. I love that movie. And he just really, I saw him in an Oz film and I didn't think it was very good, but he just tears it up in this movie that he was nominated for last year. It was so great. It was so good. And then Ethan Hawke, who you guys helped me to remember his name. Ethan has just changed me. And this is one of the things I love is if it's an actor that I'm kind of about, but then I see him in a performance that just, if you guys get to see this, everybody in it is so good, but he is really good. And it's a chilling, it just brings you in. This particular show, Good Lord Bird, really brings you in. The young man who plays the slave kid / sort of slave kid thing. Anyway, I don't want to tell you too much, but he's really good too. They're just, everybody is really strong and good. And it's got, it's just gritty and fun and beautiful to watch and fun. I'm at the edge of my seat when I watch it. And the only way I can watch The Good Lord Bird is on my computer. There is no, for your consideration, app for me to watch this on my Roku. So I have to watch it on my computer, which is why it's taking me a little longer to watch it. But I got to watch all of it before it disappears from me because I really, really love it. And to both James Franco and to Ethan Hawke, my humblest apologies. All I can do is say that I'm a little bit overworked and maybe just a little kooky. You fill in the blank. No excuses here, but my humblest apologies. I did not do it to be mean or unkind. I was just wrong. I was just flat out wrong. So yeah. So I'm excited for you. I really love that. And Mark Ruffalo, and I know this much is true, I have not gotten to see that either. And I'm writing it down so I have a list so that I don't have to go through this later. You're actually helping me. Mark Ruffalo, and I love Mark Ruffalo. Don't you think he's like the best, you Marvelites, he's the best Hulk ever? So many people played the Hulk character, and there were some that hit pretty good, and then there were some that hit that not so great. And then he just nailed it. Don't you think Mark Ruffalo nailed the Hulk? I mean, just made him endearing and interesting and fun and not just crazy. Really good. And we're not comparing him, honestly, to the TV series where that was so much fun, where Lou Ferrigno played the actual Hulk character. I thought that was a fun series. That's a fun series. But no. I mean, recently we saw so many people playing this character, and it was great to finally nail it. Mark does it. So I really have to do Mark a service and make sure I see that. And then finally, I think that's finally, no, there's two more. Mrs. America, female actor, Cate Blanchett in Mrs. America. Michaela in I May Destroy You. I have not seen that. Little Fires Everywhere. I have not seen. And then a stunt ensemble. Yes, we actually vote for someone in a stunt final. And Mulan's up, guys. Yeah, I won't be voting for it, but Mulan is up. Stunt-wise, stunt-wise, there's some that aren't on here that the stunts were just holy But Wonder Woman had some great stunts. 1984, Wonder Woman's Up, Trial of Chicago 7, News of the World, Mulan, and Defy Bloods. Defy Bloods has got some serious stunt action going on. So that's pretty good. And then finally, outstanding performance by a stunt ensemble in a comedy drama has The Boys, Cobra Kai, Lovecraft County, The Mandalorian. Did you hear that, guys? The Mandalorian's up, and Westworld. So there you go. I haven't seen the new season of Westworld. My husband said it's kind of a yawn. So I again, why do I even mention Westworld? Because you don't want to take somebody else's words for something like mine. Go see it, form your own opinion, and let me know what you think. Okay? All right, my friends. I just thought it would be kind of fun to segue into that because you do want to have stories. It is a come in from the fire kind of thing. But this is like a little peek behind the Academy, into the Academy Awards. This year, there's the added challenge of how are we going to get to see these fabulous red carpet clothing, if that's your thing, or let them strut their stuff during the pandemic. So it is, I think, the actual show for both Screen Actors and the Academy Awards is somewhere in April. I don't think it's far out in May. So the more vaccines we get and the better it gets, they might actually get to have something while they'll be safe. I know that if the production is done a certain way, they have, you may remember that I went and did and worked, actually flew on a plane, actually flew on a plane and pardon me, flew on a plane, which scared me to death. Thank you, Delta, for making me feel wonderful, Delta Airlines. But I had to go and do a show, and they had a whole team I had a COVID angel, actually, who made sure that I remembered when I could remove my mask and work with the other performers. And then when I had to put it on before I exited that safe area. And then I had to go directly to my holding trailer. This is the one great thing about COVID is we had a trailer instead of like a table or a chair. This production was very generous, and I had a trailer, but you had to literally, it was like taking someone special out of a box, placing you on your marks or where you're supposed to stand in front of camera. You do your scene, then they escort you back, get you into your trailer. Just make sure you have that mask on. You're social distancing the whole time, because you can imagine if you're doing a series or show during the pandemic and one of you gets sick. You guys have seen these teams, these basketball teams and so on, and one gets COVID and the whole team is hosed, right? So it's very important that we continue to think of others over ourselves. And so in the case of the Academy Awards, they may be trying very hard to protect the nominees in such a way that that'll be a good show, because honestly, they said the Golden Globes was not really that impressive. And if you guys have done a Zoom call, sometimes they can be a little taxing. So hopefully it's far back enough that we'll get to see maybe a little different presentation. I'm hoping it will. I actually could have the opportunity to go to these. It happens every year that they have a small amount of tickets for actors like me, who, if I want to pay like $500 or $600 to go to the show and sit with all of these nominees, you can, but I usually don't. I cheer them from home. One day I may invest, but right now, I mean, this time I definitely wouldn't, because it's going to be all of them. It's not going to be any of that. It's going to be, I would imagine, mostly nominees and their family, as the way it should be. All right. What do you have to say? Well, before I do that, let me just remind you guys about where is it? Here it is, the Patreon page. And if you want to join us on our Zoom calls on Wednesday, all you have to do is go here and check it out. Full disclosure, it's a membership site, $5 a month, but that keeps me coming, being present on everything that I give you and everything that we do. There's all kinds of fun opportunities for you to meet and hobnob with some amazing people inside this tribe, not just me. So if you're interested, please go check it out. No pressure, no golden handcuffs. Just please go check it out. I think it's a great opportunity for you to meet some great, supportive, wonderful people. If you are interested in anything that I have been selling, like the pins that I do, hitchhiking ghosts, etc., like for instance, these cachets, you can go to terrihardin.com right here and click on the online store and have a look. I still have hitchhiking ghosts available. I still have blacklight ghosts available. I still have a lot going on. So you can go. The illuminating ghosts are almost sold out. I think I have about 9 sets left. So if you see those, you fall in love with those, and you want those, it's important to check them out. So here they are again. They actually do light up. They are an investment, but if you want to see them and see what's available to you, if you want to have this set, they are separate. That's the lovely thing about them, is that you can tuck them around at your leisure. You can tuck them around the way you like, and that's one of the reasons I did this. So there's that, and then we also have the blacklight version, which is this one here. You can see that they are one way, and then you hit them with a black light and they're another way. So lots to see, lots of exciting stuff to experience. So there's my in the middle commercial, much like YouTube channels that talk to you about face cream or foot powder or Geico. This is my own. So there you go. Just go to terrihardin.com and you can see what that is all about. Okay. And finally, we're doing a giveaway here, guys. I know this is the middle of the hour and I'm saying it again. But I'm giving a dinosaur giveaway, things from 1992, 1993. Please send your stories. You can send them to my email. Here's my email right here. And you can send me your stories. It can be why you like dinosaurs. That's what it's about. Did you love it as a kid? What was it that touched your heart? Are you watching it with your family now? How do you like that? Or are you new to it and you love it? Okay, so a lot of cool dinosaur bling. I've got TV guide and everything. And if I do broadcast Friday, I'll show you again. But as we move forward, yay, I will show you. I'll try to show you every time at the top of my broadcast because I know they are quite long. So now let's do me a favor and see your comments and see what you have to say today. How was your weekend? Are you excited that we are going from, that we have gone? Oh, we've gone from the purple to the red tier, and we may be very, very well on our way to orange. Are you excited about it? What are you thinking of doing as soon as we open up? Because this is the light at the end of the tunnel. Talk to me about your thoughts, and we'll do that right now. Let's see. StreamYard, live viewer comment show up on StreamYard. This is an example. Click on a comment to show on the screen. Isn't it nice that they just reached out to me to tell me that? I mean, it's funny that they want me to know that because I've been doing this for a while, but I'm glad they told me because you never know. I had trouble waking up today. So thank you, StreamYard. Good morning, Michael Clark says, a couple weeks ago when I had finished watching your broadcast, I turned on the radio. And guess what came on? Ghostbusters. I know. It's the never-ending story and the gift that keeps on giving to all of us. I am so touched by how this original film has continued, how it has and continues to inspire and excite so many people all over the world. And I'm also very grateful to many of you for sharing it with me on Instagram and Facebook, YouTube. You always reach out and show me. You kind of, you Ghostbusters fans out there are so you just touch my heart. And then you send me cool things. I was so touched to get that Marshmallow Man. Again, thank you, Greg. It was more than kind. You don't need to do that. Nate sent me this little guy, and then I thought it was from someone else, but this is actually from my friend Nate Singleton, and it's so cute. And he looks at me over here, along with Diane Embaum. She sent me a Remy, and Remy is one of my favorite characters in Paris. I kind of love the restaurant. I love the restaurant to go in and see, but the food is So get a dessert flight if you're planning on going to Disney Paris when it opens up. Don't buy the whole meal. It's very expensive and not that great. But if you buy the dessert flight, their pastry chef is a rock star there. And for about 60 euros, you can get the best dessert flight you've ever seen. I should show you some of those behind the scenes when I took people out to see that. So thank you, Michael, for saying that. Nate says good morning again. Nate and Michael are from my Patreon group, both very generous individuals, and a good reason why your voice should be added to that group. Cheryl Sawyer says, working from home and will be listening along. Nice to have you to keep me company. It's been a tough day so far. Isn't that the truth? Mondays, I don't know why there's this stigma of Mondays, but they can be little tigers, can't they? And just mess you up. Me today, I was so comfortable, and it looks like the rain stopped a little bit, but they can be so comfortable and cozy. And when it rains, it just makes it. So I had to fight today myself. So I feel you, Cheryl, and I'm glad that I'm here for you. I'm glad that I can be of service to you, is what I should say. Good morning. Hope your week's off to a good start, she says, everyone. Nancy, that's a lovely thing to say. And thank you. It is, because today is March 15th, a day that will go down in history for me because my husband is now eligible to get the vaccine, and this is big for me. So I'm pretty excited. Good morning, says Melissa Eiler. Hello, Melissa. Glad to have you. That box is isn't it cute? And if you get to ever meet Savannah, she is a little doll. She is just the sweetest little thing. In her 20s, always a pleasure, always sparkly, always upbeat, and loves the color pink. And you can't, you just can't get over someone who loves the color pink. I don't know why. Pink is such a happy color. And I'm someone who I'm just going to fix this a little bit. There we go. I'm someone who really, really doesn't necessarily love a color and then outfit my home in that color. I love all colors. As an artist, but when I see someone really rock out a color, and Savannah does it with style and class, she does a great job, and I just, you feel pink is a nice, comfy, princessy color. I'm telling you, she reminds me of a Disney princess. I'm just going to say that. I hope she takes it in the way it's meant, with love. Bonnie's in the house. Thank you, Bonnie. It is cute, isn't it? I mean, I didn't know what it was. I said, what did I think it was? I thought it was what did I think this was? I did not say cupcake originally. I said cake, I think, maybe. But when this goes on, and I will show it to you once the flowers are no longer, we'll put it together and show you the little cupcake. But it's cute, isn't it? It's going to brighten everything in here. Like, not that you don't need it bright in here. I've got lots of great things that bring me great joy. But wow, it just was really cute. I have to agree with you. Bonnie. You are so loved. Yes. And you continue to show me. You don't just, you're welcome to tell me. Don't feel like you have to reciprocate in any way. I think it's so wonderful that you're doing it. I when Greg sent me the Marshmallow Man and he said, if you don't like it, you can give it away. No, I'm not giving it away. I'm so excited to have them that I love it. There's a drawing that Joseph Yakovetic did for me that I love. And it's just a little sketch he sent me in an envelope. And then Deanna Shanley, she sent me a good luck horseshoe that she did for me that's hanging over my window seat here in my studio. So if I curl up on my window seat to read a book or something and listen to the rain, I've got all that good luck showering upon me. So I really am grateful for your gifts. It's so sweet of you to send me something, but you don't have to. Just send me your good wishes and your love. And thank you for joining. And if you haven't subscribed, that's what you could do. You see how I sort of slipped that in there? Leslie, my husband says, Leslie, you love to write. And he is so cute because I love to read it. Jen did the flowers for my son and daughter-in-law's wedding last May. They were so beautiful. The wedding began as a big wedding at a big church here in Glendale and ended up with 4 of us using Facebook Live and Zoom. It was still beautiful. So glad to have Jen and her colleague Michelle create the floral spinach. Their flowers are beautiful. Now, I didn't know Jenny did flowers, but I am always looking for a florist because I had a florist I absolutely loved, and their shop closed. It was called Willer's Flowers, and it was in the San Fernando Valley, and I absolutely love them. And the young lady who did them was just magical. So it's great to find Jenny because she is magical. And I had no idea she did flowers. So woohoo! Very exciting, like you say, Leslie. Absolutely. Yum, I know. Makes you kind of hungry for a cupcake, doesn't it? Yum to beautiful flowers and yum to cupcakes. Yeah. Please take the day off, says Angie. Yeah. Well, my husband came in on Sunday. Well, actually, we woke up. And the ritual is I get up and I make him tea. There are many people that feel they don't need to do this for a family member, their husbands. I make him tea every morning, except for today, because I'm here. But he's cool with it. He's cool with it. And but I make him tea, and then we talk about breakfast. And I go, I've got a beautiful breakfast for you planned today. And he says, really? And then I say, but I'm going to let you know the 5-minute mark so that you can make the coffee, because he makes this amazing coffee that I love, involving a nice, deep, rich coffee. But then he puts a little Bailey's in it. He whips it up, and it's all foamy, and it's like very good. But I only allow myself to do it on family days, Sundays. Maybe that's why I guard family. Nah, it's not. And then we'll sit having the tea at first and having a discussion, just kind of, like I said, relaxing and having the day. And then I'll get up and I'll make these amazing breakfasts. And I always do a fun, warm, cozy breakfast for us. And then we kind of plan on our day. And sometimes it means we don't move much. We study some things on YouTube. We do some explorations on YouTube. We discuss the last time we discussed storage, because my storage for all my content is very taxed. And so he is working on making it so it's not so taxed, because I have these little palpitations every time I think something has corrupted and my content is in jeopardy of being lost. Wow, that's scary. Also, we'll talk about, so I've just laid out for you the Academy Award stuff, the Screen Actors Guild stuff. This is what we did yesterday. It was a cool day, very cool weather, a bit windy in our area. And so we decided, we stepped outside a little bit, let Rocket run around. And then we came back in. I made breakfast. We visited a little bit with his family, and then we curled up and started to do our homework and some taxes. We also finalized those taxes so we can get them sent to our CPA today, just as soon as I'm done. So it was all good. So thank you, Angie, for encouraging me to take the day off on Friday. Wendy says, I get to get the vaccine now too. Yes, Wendy. Are you happy? Aren't you just so thrilled that wall is broken? I mean, oh. And I tried to make today about more fluffy stuff, but I'm just so about this, I don't know. I think it's just so good. And hearing that May is for everybody, I really believe him. And then let's talk stimulus checks. If you're due for a stimulus check, that's my dad and my cousin. Maybe me, I don't even know. But I'm so excited it's coming. I was a little scared because it's what, a gazillion, million, trillion package. But he keeps saying, Biden keeps saying he's got it under control. It's not going to be a horrible deficit. It is now, but his plan to get things up and running again, it won't be for long. I can't wait to see that. I got fingers crossed, hoping, that because that's where we're all like, oh, what do we do when it comes time to pay the piper? But he says he's got it. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, you got this. Why would I doubt you? So yay, Wendy, and congratulations. Hello, Randy Gribe. Great to see you, my friend. Great to see you. Nate Singleton says, they say that mask wearing, hand washing, and sanitizing has essentially stopped the flu this year. Yeah. Well, those of you who are on my Patreon page, a lot of times I talk with this amazing lady, Holly Mack. She has 2 little kids, and she has been filling us in on how her family has been well the entire year because her kids have not been to school to contact every little petri dish thing that they do to bring home and make them sick every year. She's really enjoyed having a ill-free year. If she can say one thing about the pandemic, it has kept her household well. So it's those things we got to consider when a teacher says, I'd like to be vaccinated before I go back to school. Listening to someone with like Holly, who has 2 really little kids, which is the group they're talking about. I understand it's tough on the kids, but hey, guys, life's tough. Okay. It's not a bed of roses. It's not a box of chocolates, but it is in the case that you don't know what you're going to get. So this is an exercise in patience, kids. I know. I feel for you if you don't get to do your prom. I feel for you that you didn't get to be with your friends. And Zoom is very difficult. I firsthand can tell you, being in front of a screen for a long amount of time makes me want to fall asleep. So I get you. But now you got lighted to the other tunnel. Think how fun it's going to be to see your friends when you finally get to go back to school. And those of you who finally got to go back to school, share with others how much fun it was to see your friends finally. Okay. But don't whine too much about it because we're getting to the point now that it's not going to be much longer. I get it's tough. I get it's hard, but life is hard. I've always been someone who feels competition is healthy, and to give everybody an award and not pick is lazy, in my opinion. It allows you to strive, be strong. I was in a drama class in high school, and I kept losing to Mayor Winningham whenever I would go to a Shakespeare event. They'd have this Shakespeare event. You would prepare a Shakespearean scene, and you would either be a team or you do a monologue, which means one person. And I would always was second to her first. Now, you may remember Mare because just Google her. She made it to the movies. Whereas I'm still like a door. I swing into a movie, swing out. I'm doing all kinds of things, but I did not a career. Well, I made a career, but not like hers. So she's really a strong actress. But one of the things I want to say about her is because she kept winning, kept placing first and I kept placing second, I worked harder every year to try to dethrone her. I can name times in my history where competition really made me better. So I don't think it's fair to say you, the young people are today, aren't worthy of good competition. I think competition is good for you. I don't think y'all should win. Too much entitlement. Not a good idea. Competition is good. Not being mean, just work harder. You work harder. And to wrap that story up, I went to my final my last as a senior. I went to the Shakespeare Festival and actually placed first, and she placed second. Trophy was like this big, but it wasn't the object. It was the achievement. And oh my God, to this day, look at that little plaque that must have cost them, $2 to make. And I don't care. It means that at one time in my life, I actually was considered by judges better than the amazing Mare Winningham, and I respect her and love her. But boy, that was a red letter day for me, and I loved it. And I played the nurse from Romeo and Juliet. That was my character. So I didn't do Juliet. You know me and how I feel about salt and pepper characters. I am a character actress to the bone. And I've always loved it, and I've always done well in the side characters that support the leads. As a puppeteer, I played a lot of leads on the West Coast, but once I was brought into Muppets and I played these side characters, I was much happier. I'm really, really, really happy doing the sidekick characters. That being said, when I was a puppeteer for a guy named Dave Pavlonis, I played a character called Nanny. And it was the Nanny and Isaiah series. She was a little homeless child that hides in a portion of the she is homeless, and she hides in various spaces trying to survive. This is back in the 80s, and she ends up finding what she feels is a deserted basement, only to find that there's a family down there living that are living in the basement of the church. And the church, I don't think, knows it, but they all invite Nanny to be a part of their family, and it's a diverse family. In fact, Isaiah is a little black boy, and she's a little white girl, and then you have an older woman and a motherly woman and a fatherly woman, and lots of fun little characters coming in and out of their lives. But Nanny is a scrapper. She's been on the street, and so she's very outspoken. She's very she says what's on her mind. Who's that like? And I loved playing her. She was the one lead character that I really loved. And I got to play opposite my dear friend and love, Pat Brymer, whose birthday is going to be on St. Patty's Day, the amazing Pat Brymer. So little shout out to him, because I love him and I miss him. And he passed away last year. And it's a heartbreaker to lose the mentor, the man who changed my life. There's lots that did that, but Pat was my bud. He was my friend, and my teacher and my mentor and my heart. So he played this little character, and we had a great time when we were doing it. We shot it in St. Louis. They would fly us to St. Louis, and we would do 3 or 4 shows. And I remember when I was doing Captain EO with Michael Jackson, I gave him a set of the Nanny and Isaiah series, because we did like 13 shows for Concordia Publishing, and they really are charming. What happens is that she learns about Jesus and about the Bible, and about the first one is called Welcome the Stranger, and she learns about the nativity that churches put out of Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus and the animals and everything. And she actually, in one of the shows, she steals the baby Jesus, because she hears that Jesus is for everyone. So she takes it literally, and she steals the baby Jesus from the church, and more like borrows it, because she wants to have the baby Jesus near her. It's a great series. It's very well written, and the puppets are lovely, and Nanny's a great little character. So it was a great place to cut my teeth on, and I loved being that lead character. She meant a lot to me. She was a lot of fun. And she also didn't take anything at face value. You know, a lot of religious shows can be, if you believe in Jesus or you're Christian or whatever your religion, you're kind of like, oh, turn the other cheek, la la. It's not very real. Some of these can be really not applied to the real world, where Nanny was. Nanny got into fights with people because they would make fun of her belief in Jesus and how she dealt with them, and how the older family members told her that's not quite the way that you convert. You'd let people know how much you love Jesus. You don't beat them up. So she was one of these people that had to learn, because she was a street character. Anyway, she's just a love, Nanny, and she's one of the characters I loved performing, and I did her for 13 shows, and then I gave those shows to Michael, because Michael loved puppets, and he had never heard of the show, but he loved hearing the story, and so I brought him a set of those as a gift, and who knows if his family still has them, you know. But But yeah, but yes, Nate, this is a cool thing. This is a cool byproduct, right? A lot of people say, I think I'm going to wear the mask if I'm sick in the future, whether I have to or not, because it really has protected others. And wow, isn't that interesting? They'd say. Kim Huff says, I can't wait to get mine. Ah, yay! I'm with you, Kim. I can't wait to get mine, and I do have to wait, but I can't wait either. So congratulations. Randy says, what are your thoughts on Godzilla versus Kong? Oh my goodness. My husband says that Americans should not do kaiju films. Do you know kaiju? Anyway, he's like, don't do it. If it's got a lot of CG, he's not going to like it, and I probably won't either. We really, really love it when Toho Studios does their thing. And if you are a Godzilla fan and a King Kong fan, there are some people who really nail it. Like Peter Jackson, when he did King Kong, his version, which was a lot of money to do, but he did it out of Weta in New Zealand. I have to say that the scene where she is threatened by the 2 T-Rexes, or is it 3? So good. I was on the edge of my seat. I thought that was one of the best scenes in the film. Do you like this Peter Jackson King Kong? I thought it went a little long, but oh my gosh, there are some sequences in there that just blow you away. They're so nice. And again, Peter with King Kong does practical with CG and blends them. And I think that really makes for a good film. So I really liked it. And I thought it was very good. And then I have 2 friends that did a cameo in it. So I thought that was cool as well. But this one I'm going to watch. Okay. So Randy, let me just say, full disclosure, I'm watching it. Okay. I'm not judging it. I'm curious. So I want to see it because there is, one of the movies I absolutely loved that my husband just goes, really, is Meg. Did you see this about this massive shark? I just love it. I just love it. I must have seen it about 10 times. It's just so fun. It's silly, it's goofy, but I love that movie. So I kind of like cheese every once in a while. I love a good cheese. And I thought Meg was a ton of fun. So this one may not be something that I absolutely go gaga over, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to check it out, Randy, and see it because I love Godzilla and I love Kong. So what do I think of it right now? The previews look interesting. I know enough to know that when you're trying to cut a trailer for a film, you're not given everything. And when it comes to a film like this, they don't have everything done. So yeah, I'm there. I'm Team Godzilla there because I love Godzilla, as you know, right? You guys know I'm a Godzilla freak, right? If you don't, you can ask me about it and I will show you my Godzilla that I did for Tokyo's Second Gate. Which never really came to fruition, but it sure was nice to land that job as an Imagineer, I'll tell you. So thank you for bringing that up because, yeah, I'll be there. I don't know if it'll be in the theater or I'll be watching it, at home on my couch with my popcorn. That's the right price, right? We were talking about this the other day. The biggest shocker is you love to go to a theater, but one thing the pandemic did is if you are watching your movies at home with your family on your own Bark Lounger and you've gotten yourself a liter of Coca-Cola, let's say, or Diet Coke, whatever you guys drink, and then you got popcorn, you realize that big bag of popcorn that you popped ran you what, like $1? And they're charging you like 14 at the theater. I mean, I call that a wake-up call, guys. The soda that you used to buy that, runs you big money, and then you find out for $2 you can get a whole liter and enjoy it. Like I said on Friday, you're going to have to figure out, they're going to have to figure out how to bring you back into the theater because you've been made aware, right? You can make the popcorn any way you want. The bathroom's right next to you. You don't have to walk up an aisle and all of that kind of stuff. And your popcorn's great. And many of you have created some amazing theater experiences. You've gotten the bigger TVs, 50, 60, 78, whatever those inches are, and they're just huge, and you've made this entire theater because we're going to be home for a year. And oh my goodness, how are we going to get you out of your theater into theirs if we're theater owners? We got to start thinking. We got to be creative and create an experience, don't we? Yes, we do if we're theater owners, because that's what's going to happen. Once people, right now, just like I said with Wendy, as long as you're high risk, I'm not going to go. But if you're not, or you're with, once we've got our vaccines and everything, we're going to start to venture out and do some fun stuff because we're allowed to now. So, so do it. Do we go to a movie just because we want to be out? Maybe. But by the same token, are they going to still charge us big money to go to see a movie? And are we going to do it? Is it enough draw? Let me know in the comments, especially if you're not watching this live and you are a moviegoer that maybe bought that membership where you could see 3 or 4 films a day at a month at the AMC for, what was it, $20 a month, 25 bucks a month, whatever it was. I never did it. Not what I do. But let me know how you feel about it as things open up. What are some of the things you'd like to see businesses do to get your business back, right? I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear what you have to say. In my case, American Airlines better have a big apology to everybody because they have been really not kind during this pandemic. And they were one of my go-to airlines, but they made me very upset. They broke my heart because they seem to just not care about the people. And that's not cool. You're not going to back me up during the hard times. Why should I back you up when it gets a little better? So I think I mentioned to you, I hated Delta. I was not a fan of Delta. They just didn't seem to get their act together. But boy, they sure got it together during the pandemic. They not only had my back, they went out of their way to make me feel safe when I had to fly, because I was scared to death back in November when I flew. So they just took such good care of me. The flight attendants took care of me. The people at the counter took care of me. They made sure that if I needed food, they had done it in such a way that it was no contact. It just brilliant upon brilliant upon brilliant. And I salute Delta Airlines, and I have become an avid client of Delta. I am going to, because they had my back during when times were tough. It's not fair not to have our backs at times are tough. And then when everything is all hunky-dory, you want me to come back like nothing has happened. No, that's not going to happen. I am slightly trapped because I have a lot of points with them, but they're hearing from me. I write to them and I say, what are you going to do to apologize for your behavior? And I'm sorry, the fact that you need to stay in the air and that you need the money is not, don't look at me like a cash cow. Look at me like I'm a human being, because if Delta can do it, so can you, American. Okay. You can do it too, United. Both of you. Really was not impressed with you. So you're going to have to really do some work. Yep. Oh, wait. Yes. Okay. That was the Godzilla. Okay. Just want to make sure I didn't skip you, Randy. Robin O'Toole says, I can't get mine till late April, 100 days after having COVID is what my doctor says. Yes. Okay. But you don't want to get it until you've had that cycle through, right? That's important. And chances are, as they've said, Robin, you probably have antibodies. So you're okay. Be careful. Be super careful, because my dear friend Michelle has had COVID, I think 2 or 3 times. She just keeps getting infected. And guess what she is? A teacher. So, we can't be judging people. We have to be curious. When a teacher says, I don't want to go back, there's a reason for it. I want to be vaccinated first. I don't think it's too much to ask, honestly. I think it's really smart that the teachers union is asking for that. And they took some flack on it, but sometimes you got to take a lot of flack when you stand for what you believe. Okay. So I back them 100%. Dennis says, yes, we still need to be cautious. Getting through spring break will be a real test. It will. It will. One of the challenges, everyone, about not being in a snowy environment or a cold environment, we have beautiful beaches here in California, and people just can't stay away. We have been very fortunate, thank the Lord, that it's been cold and windy. So a lot of people don't necessarily want to be in the beach and swimming in the water. I personally love it during this time of year. I'm nuts that way, but I'm not doing it. So it keeps the crowds down because it's not a super beautiful warm day. But California gets a good warm day and they all crowd. They forget, they lose their minds. They don't social distance. And at the beach, it's a little challenging with a mask because you don't have to swim with a mask on. But those of you who love to play in the water, like myself, you can't necessarily navigate where you're going to come up and be opposite someone else, opposite a mask. You can try your best, but then you're walking up from the water and again, you'd have no mask. It's very, very dangerous. And we forget everything when we're on the beach and our skin is feeling warm and comfy and we're having a little barbecue or whatever we're doing. So this is a problem when you have a coastal town. Texas, which most of the areas of Texas have taken away the mandates, which I think is absolutely cuckoo. But I hear that Austin has not taken it away. They've said, like, y'all can do it, but we all ain't doing it, you know? And I think that's pretty cool. It's hard to stand up to what people are pushing when you get pressure. It's hard to say no, safety first. It's a challenge when you got everybody going, I got to live, I got to eat, I got to work, I got to this. And you have to stand strong and say, but you can't die. Not on my watch. I don't want to be responsible of putting you guys together when it's not safe, you know? And this is what I'm talking about. Okay. It's hard to be someone who stands strong on this. And I admire those. And this is what I feel about Gavin Newsom. I feel that you're shooting the messenger here by recalling him. I'm sorry. I do. And, you know, his job was not easy. I don't want it. No, I don't want any of those jobs. It's too hard. It's too difficult. And good for him for, you know, I wasn't a real fan of his before the pandemic, but I'm a fan of his now. So I doubt he'll be watching my channel, but, and you guys may disagree. You may have signed that petition and that's your, you know, I love you guys. You have your opinion, but I want you to understand, grain of salt, grain of salt, grain of salt. This is not normal. This is not what we're used to. As human beings, we like to be in the presence of other human beings. We just do. You know, even when you're someone who hates people, you like to be around them occasionally. So honestly, you know, it's what a hard job that I don't want. So I'm grateful to him for taking a hard line because we needed to. But anyway, that's just cool. And like Dennis says, you got to be cautious. We're in the home stretch now. So you spring breakers, okay? I know the airlines are enticing you with the inexpensive tickets, taking you to places where they're not really screening for COVID, Mexico. You got to be careful, okay? Be careful. I talked to my sister in Hawaii yesterday, and she said that it's a 10-day quarantine if you bop over to Hawaii. You have to quarantine for 10 days because they're on an island, and they only have so many beds. They're little comparatively to everywhere else. They're little. So you have to be careful and you have to abide by the rules. So if you're going to jump ship and do some of this stuff, please be respectful of the townspeople that you are in and be careful. Okay. That's just all I've got to say. We're so close. And I can't tell you how, when I've been in a race, I did a marathon at Walt Disney World for the Disneyland Half Marathon, in which I did what is called a dopey challenge. There's a reason they call it the dopey challenge. The first day you do a 5K, second day you do a 10K, third day you do a half, and the fourth day you do a marathon. 49.6 miles, I think. Might be 46.9, but in any case, a lot. But I remember doing the marathon, and I trained real hard with someone to do a marathon. It was my first marathon, which is even more stupid. But I did, and I did fine. I got all my medals, and it was wonderful. It was really an exciting time to get those medals. I may be able to find the picture. I'll look if I can find that picture, because if I can, it's quite a shot. But I will see if I have it. Let me see if I have it. I'm going to take it to the bottom and see if it's here. But I was so proud because I had been asthmatic all my life. and unable to run at all or walk or whatever. And then I got better. After 50 years, I got better. And my body just, I worked with someone and my body healed itself, and it was just amazing. And so I was very excited about it. I'm just looking to see if I can find that picture. I may or may not have put it in here, because sometimes, talking to people about races, it's a very focused thing, But if it's in here, I'll show you. I'm looking to see if I put it in. So I'm very proud of that picture, but I may or may not have put it in the... And trying to find it in photos is like, oh my gosh, please don't do it to me. But I don't see it. So I'll have to dig it up, and I will show it to you. But yeah, it's a great shot. And so I got my medals, but there we go. But I was running the marathon, walking the marathon, and you go through, those of you who have not done the Disneyland half marathons that happen around January, and they didn't happen because of COVID this year. So think back a bit. Take you back into time. Anyway, I was doing the marathon, and there was a guy ahead of me, a runner. And what you do is you run through Disneyland Hollywood Studios. I don't know if they call it the Disneyland Hollywood Studios anyway, but at the time that's what it was called. And you run through there, and it was like a wine and dine kind of a thing. It wasn't wine and dine, but they were having like a food festival. So there's a guy in front of me. He was stopping. He's a runner, and he was stopping and drinking drinks. So we had a mile, 1.2 miles to go, and he was drinking drinks. So it's 26.2 miles, a marathon, for those of you who don't run. Run, walk is what I do. Run, walk, or walk, run. So I'm not one of those speed demons that can finish it in I don't do 4-minute miles or 10-minute miles. I do kind of a walking 13-minute mile. So basically what happened was he was stopping, using his card swiper. Many of you have been to Walt Disney World. You know what I'm talking about. And drinking drinks. But he was kind of laying it on thick, and he passes out. True story. At the 26-mile mark. Remember, you have to go 0.2 miles further. But he just celebrated too soon, passes out, completely gone, because we've done the 26 miles at the end of 26 miles. Boom. And they could not revive him, no medal. I mean, he gets a medal, but he doesn't cross the finish line at 0.2 miles, okay? So that's why I'm saying to you, don't quit. We're at the 26-mile mark. We only have 0.2 to go. We can do this, okay? So exciting. So exciting. Michael, hi. Wow. Michael says he's glad to be busy with income tax season. He is very, very good at what he does. I don't care what color the tier is. Try not to think of fun things that I will not do because I feel it too soon. Happy for those who are champing at the bit to get as close as possible to Disneyland. I mean, some of you peek through the fence, don't you? And go, hi, Disneyland. We'll come see you soon. Whatever it is, this is not me. I do not want to stand at the green gates and look at the happy place. Not able to go in. I've resigned myself to the fact that my annual pass officially expired in March, and I got my refund check, etc., etc. So yeah. So this is a way to do it too. Kind of like me staying out of the supermarkets, because I get really weird when I see people with not wearing masks, or doing weird stuff, doing dumb stuff like wear it here. That just drives me nuts. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how crazy it is. But you do what you do, right? If you're trying to not spend too much money, and there are places where you're a little bit out of control, for me, it's bookstores. So I don't go into a bookstore often. Because if I see something I like, I just snatch that little puppy off, and I have got a lot of books. So I have to try and show discipline. But when it comes to a bookstore and art supply store, those are where I am a little challenged. So I don't go into them unless I absolutely need to. And then I put myself through a mantra saying, just buy what you need, sweetie. Just buy what you need. Don't buy more because it looks cool. Ooh, what's that about? Ooh, I'd like to learn that. Ooh, you know how it is. So that is exactly kind of what Michael is saying. He doesn't want to be tempted, nor does he not want to feel kind of sad that he may not get to, but each person, you do it in your own way. I'm not going to go to Disneyland because it's only 15% capacity after April 1st, should it happen, right? And I'm not going to take one of your passes there, you guys who need this like you need a blood infusion, blood transfusion. You need it like oxygen to breathe. I'm not going to take that from you. I live here. I can wait. I think that's what Michael's saying, is that he can wait. And he can wait as long as it takes, Many people said, how you feel if the passes are going to be these exorbitant prices. I don't know what I don't know. I wish I had a crystal ball that I could tell you what the prices of the passes were going to be. But Disneyland has a lot to do. And I think if they were wise, and they are very wise, that they start with the people who are Club 33 members, because those people have been continually investing in Disney without being able to go to Club 33. So I would do some sort of fun, cool thing for the Club 33 members, and then I would worry about everybody else. Just my suggestion. Yeah, are they listening? Who knows? Good morning, Terry from Snowed Under, Colorado. Thank you, Anne. Will you go out and do a snow angel and send it to me, please? I can't do a snow angel. I tried to do a water angel, I said earlier. It doesn't work. Water doesn't care. Or you got to really flat fast. So I would love it if you did that and send it to me. Nomadland was interesting. It's free if you have Hulu. Yes. Okay, there you go, guys. Free if you have Hulu, okay? And you are okay with commercials. My husband just can't handle commercials anymore because he's so used to seeing a movie all the way through. He doesn't like it with commercials, but it's a great way for you to see it. And thank you, Holly. It's one I think you should see. It's very, very interesting. And I think the reason they released it was because for many, it's a way of life now. There are many people living in their vehicles right now, not from choice, not because they want to be a nomad. This is about you come across people who want to be nomads, or people who were in a situation where they had to become nomads. And it's just a great film. So do check it out. Free on Hulu. Thank you, Holly Mack. Proud mom moment. My son's name was in the post-production credits on No Man Land, and the United States versus Billie Holiday. Loved No Man Land. Well, hello. That was great. Tell me what your son does, and tell me why he was in the post-production credits. What is it he actually does for these two films? I really like the United States versus Billie Holiday, by the way. Not sure why it wasn't noticed or whatever, but I liked it. So I'd love to hear, Anne, about your son a little bit more, and I will celebrate him too. Good for you. When you get in the credits, it's good across the board. Seriously, Holly Mack, the Borat movie was nerve-wracking. I can't believe he lived with those guys for 5 days. Exactly my point, Holly. Danger zone. I mean, it's like saying, well, hey, I'm in a cage with a lion because I'm going to see what it feels like to be with a lion for 5 days. And as long as I act cool, maybe the lion won't attack me. Oh, Lord. It was that scary for me, Holly. When I heard the behind the scenes of that movie, my heart was beating like a rabbit. I'd like him not to do any more of those movies because he's really good at other stuff. So just don't do that. Nate says she really embodies Margaret Thatcher, Gillian Anderson. She does, who I know from X-Files. Loved her in X-Files. Loved the X-Files. The writing, so good. I'm such an X-Files fan. Oh my gosh, I love the X-Files. So, but I saw Gillian do a couple other performances and they weren't that great. I was worried that maybe she was getting a little pigeonholed because of her character in X-Files. But then she got this chance to be Margaret Thatcher and she blows that, like Nate's saying, she blows it out of the water. She's really good. And you have to understand about The Crown. It may not be what's really like life in the palace because the parliament and all of the royal family did not allow them to have a peek into their lives. Very private, right? Don't like it when it becomes public. Not happy about it. So they don't really like The Crown. So understand The Crown is their interpretation, their thought of what it must be like based on the researches that they've done. Okay. So it's a movie. So we shouldn't take it too, but they try to keep it as true as they can based on what they have from outside sources, right? And any inside sources they might get. But one thing it does convey is that being the queen is not an easy job. And being Margaret Thatcher was not an easy job. And being Diane, whoa, Princess Di, wow, she made some really dumb choices for her husband. And I don't really follow the royal family and all of that sort of behind the scenes gossipy stuff. It's just not my thing. But my husband, we saw the sequence where she danced on Charles' birthday and he was very embarrassed. And to me, that seems like a no-brainer. Duh. Why would you do that? So, but she was young. She was very, very young. In fact, there's a phrase they say about Diana, Princess Di, that I think really works. She was younger than her years, married to someone older than his years. So it wasn't a gap, it was a chasm. And I think that says it really well. She just didn't get him and he didn't really seem to get her. And that's too bad because I felt for them while watching The Crown. I thought this is really rough. And this is, there's nothing more lonely than being in a marriage that doesn't work. It's tough. So, but The Crown is just, it's an interpretation. And I want you to know that that's why the royal family is like, this is, weird, they kind of don't like it. But the Margaret Thatcher role is amazing. And I'm sorry, it just is. She's so good. Love The Crown, says Randy. So did I. And I continue to do so. It's amazing how they're able to keep it so strong for so many seasons. That's what really blows me away about it. What is it? Season 4 or something? 5? It's not easy to sustain to keep the story going for so long and be as interesting. And it's very interesting. You want them to do another season. Well, maybe not if you're the royal family. You're probably like, I hope that dies this year. But for the rest of us, we love it. Loved Ozark. I need to watch that one again. I know. And I've got to watch the last season. I watched the first season and I think it's about a few seasons. And I need to watch it. It was so good. It was such a surprise how good it was. Mainly because, you look at it and you go, is this really going to be good? But you got to be curious, not judgmental, as I've said before. Flight Attendant is on my list, says Bonnie, but completely forgot about it. Yeah, you got to check this out. This movie is really, really good. Really good. And I can't get over how good it is. And apparently it might be getting a second set something, I don't know if it's like, I think it's episodic. It's episodic, I think. Yeah. And it's going to get a second season, I think, but I don't know where that second season is going to go, but I like it. And if they can keep it as fresh, or if there's going to be a sequel, whatever it is, they're talking about doing more. And it's really good. It's really, really impressive. Quite impressive. Yes, indeed. Very impressive. Holly says, I have free Apple TV right now, and I'll be renewing just for Ted Lasso. Oh, it's so good. It's so good, Ted Lasso. So good. Like I said, he's the one who talks about Walt Whitman and being curious, not judgmental. And I said, that is the best statement of what my life has been like. And I'm sure some of you or many of you out there can say the same thing. How many times were you judged without even getting to say a word and nobody was curious? Yeah. So, it was great to have a series that talks about stuff like that. It was good. Good morning, Ava. Hello to Deanna. Speaking of COVID-19, my daughter just got her first vaccine a half an hour ago. Whole family is a little safer. Yay! Yes, Bob. I'm happy for your entire family. Soon, you'll be able to take your masks off and hug. You can post pictures of you saying, we're, herd immunity at the household, herd immunity at the household. We're hugging, we're kissing, we're loving, we're happy. Woo! So that's going to be great. And do share with us so we can live vicariously through you. And that gives us the will to keep going. Wonderful news, Bob. See, even Ava's excited. So happy your husband can now get the vaccine. My daughter is eligible now too. Yes, Ava. We've been, champing at the bit. We've been wanting this. We've been wanting this really bad. And my dad and my mom are safe. So, of course I want that. But I haven't seen my father face to face in a long time. And my mother over a year because she's at a convalescent hospital. So once I get that vaccine, I'm so excited to just see her there and get to sit and beep, 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 beep. Now they're going to time us. They're going to make us only have a half an hour. So, I'm going to have to study so that I don't tire my mom out. Yes, finally, doesn't it feel good to be able to talk about this? Goddess Patina says, I accidentally deleted 20 hours of content from my YouTube channel I was editing. I cried. You know what? You're so right. This is one of those things that you're working so hard to do content. And Goddess, I don't know how you feel about this, but it depending on how your channel unfolds, if you're doing something on Facebook or even Patreon, you have to balance between your life and the things you like to do and you want to share, but you don't want it to ruin flow. And it can ruin flow. In fact, I've said to my husband, he's been working with me. This has been a really strong thing that we've been wanting to do over and over and over and over and over again, that we just keep fighting the good fight and working on it. And it's not easy because I'm trying to find out where I can put the cameras, where I can just sort of slide in the seat and share with you a sculpting class or a puppet class or something. I need to know where the cameras can be so they don't get away in the way of what I'm trying to show you if I'm teaching you a class, This was a challenge when I did it live for the pumpkin class last year. A lot of people said, oh, please do a live Zoom. And it was very challenging to get in there and show them what they needed to do. They all did great. All the students did great. Thank goodness that I have very smart students. But I was really concerned about the different angles and how I'm going to show you guys. So my husband and I are working on that right now to get it set up so the content is good. But then to go through all that trouble, Goddess, and then lose it, I'm with you. I'm so with you. There's nothing like that. Your heart just stops, so it's very, very scary. I'm with you. I'm excited for the stimulus tech. I need new tires. Are you thinking about what you could use it for? Yeah. My cousin is like, woo. My father is like, electric bill, here I come. I don't know what's going on with the electric company, though. I think they're doing some cheating. Pardon me. I can't say that for sure, but I'm kind of feeling like there's some my dad doesn't use a lot of lights. It's just him by himself. So these exorbitant light bills that he has, but he sits and says, you know, he tends to defend them because that's my dad. He's always about, well, if I owe it, I must owe it. But I'm kind of like, yeah, really, you think so? You know, it's kind of crazy. But he does. He feels that way, and there we go. Have to reheat my water. So we're quite not ready for my cup yet. So I'll set it over there. I'm going to get a little more tea. We are at the 2 hours and 23 mark as I continue to chat with you all. But I'm with you on that. He's like, pay the electric bill. Like, okay, Dad, go. Sandra Clark says, at our school, we have not had any kids out due to any colds. It's been great. That is a really great testimonial. And that, again, shows us great hope, doesn't it? You know, but how lovely for the children if all the teachers and administrators for the school have had their vaccinations. And that way you can focus completely on the kids. You don't have to be distracted by worrying about yourself, right? I mean, this is what the teachers are saying, I think. And I'm with them on that. You know, I don't want to be distracted. So yeah, I think that that's a really good idea. Wendy says, love Marie's work. I do too. I love Mary's work too. I do. It was great to compete against her in these festivals, you know, because she brings it, you know. But that's what I mean. You stretch yourself if you get with somebody who's a little bit more savvy or better at what they, I mean, let's, you know, if you're second violin and you compete with first violin for first violin chair, it keeps them on their toes and you on yours, right? No matter what it is, right? Yeah, it's good. You know, before I broke into the film industry, and I mean really cracked it, I got a job cutting carpets at a carpet cutting company. It was floor mats for Audi, BMW, all those fancy cars, Mercedes, all those high-end cars. It was these floor mats that had their name on it, and people would purchase these high-end mats for a price. And I was at a company that cut them, and we had an electric saw that had the electricity going up like this, and we did it like that. And I took the job because it was from 2:45 in the afternoon till 11:15 at night. And what was great about it is I had most of my day, and also my employer only had me work 4 days. And the fifth day, which was a Friday, was off. So I actually had 3-day weekends. This is the reason I took this job, was because I wanted a 3-day weekend. The reason being that I was cosplaying. At the time, it was called the costume contest, but I was cosplaying and I wanted that Friday free because, as you know, a lot of these conventions go Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that kept me from trying to get off work, to cheat, to sort of say, I'm sick or whatever back then. And so this worked beautiful. Also, the employer would pay you $10 extra if you showed up to work on those 4 days on time, and $10 extra if you got there on time. So your shift starts at 2:45. You were there at 2:45 or a little earlier, and you were there all 4 days at 2:45 when they started. You got $10 extra to your paycheck. And then if you worked that whole 4 days, you got that extra added to your paycheck. Okay. Now you may be thinking, wow, why would he do this? But you know, when a sign says don't, it means somebody did. So the same applies for if the sign says, there we go. If the sign says, we'll pay you if you show up, it means people weren't showing up. They were coming in late. They weren't doing all the days. There we go. Okay. It means that they weren't showing up for those days, which kind of says to you, which really, what does that tell? Okay, hindsight being 2020. That tell is the job is really boring. It's a really boring job. And it could get tedious and boring. I'm not going to lie. You're cutting mats. All right, you get this big piece of carpet and it's got a full set of floor mats on it, right? And you cut them out of the big carpet because it's printed on the carpet. So you cut them out and then you cut the next one and then you cut the little ones, you know. And you do that from 2:45 till 11:15, just nonstop. Now there's also other people there that sew the binding around. So it's basically, it's one of those jobs that's like can be seriously boring. So showing up on time, showing up all the days could be challenging. But the way I fixed that was to get opposite people who could really cut fast. So I would set up myself opposite the Mirror Winninghams of carpet cutting and challenge them. And we would race. We would see how fast. Now, most of the time, they were kicking my butt, and I stayed with them opposite their table until I was beating them on a regular basis. I was faster than them. Then I'd go to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. This ate up the time like nobody's business. I had more fun racing with them, and we're giggling and laughing. And as long as we did them accurately, okay, here's the key. You got to be accurate. You can't be cutting too far into the mat or cutting off too much. You had to cut off exactly a half an inch of the ink, and that was replaced by the binding. So you couldn't be, you know, going so fast that you were inaccurate, but it was so much fun for not only the fastest or the faster ones in the business when I came around and we started doing this, but for me as well. So we both had this great time of racing like crazy people. And before you know it, the whistle blew and we were done. Now, we did have a lunch in there too. Yeah, I actually did that job for about a year. And this happened until I finally got to the point where I was faster than anybody else. So I would just get opposite the fastest guy and we would just race. We would just cut. You know, if I was faster, fine. Sometimes he was faster, depending on my, you know, my attitude, behavior, whatever. Which was cool. But I did start to, as I was always faster, I did start to feel a little boredom set in. So there was a time clock that you pulled your car out and you set it in. Forgive me. And I would cut. I mean, I'm going to be honest, full disclosure. With the job, I didn't want to be hanging around in there earlier. So I didn't want to get there at like 2:40 for a job that started at 2:45. I kind of felt like I wanted to be on a job. I'm trying to see if it's a favorite. It may not be. But I kind of wanted a job where I wanted to make it. I wanted to make it so that I could spot my time card quickly, so I could get in at 2:45, run up, find the card, grab it, and into the time clock. But in order to do that, it could not be that sort of skin color yellow, that like off buff color that you see with your name on it, because everybody had a buff colored card with their name on it. So there was time lost in looking for your name, which was crazy, right? Your takes time to read your name. So I wanted to figure out a way to do that quickly. A lot like Up in the Air. Have you seen this movie with George Clooney? I love this movie. And he talks about why he packs the way he does and how quickly he does, because if you check a bag and you add how much time it takes, you lose about a week of your life just checking and waiting for your bag. So this was me. I wanted to be super, super fast with the time cards. So I started to illustrate them. Here they are. These are actually my illustrated time cards from that job. And I did this cute little fairy girl and I did this dragon. And the way it works is you see the negative space by her skirt. 4 days were 1 day equaled 4 lines, clocking in, clocking out. Okay. And the dragon the same. All along his spine is an area I can do this. And remember, I told you I was there for a year. So what happened is that about 9 months into doing this, the person at the front of the office, there was this air conditioned office where the receptionist was there, the boss was there, and then there was someone else who would come in and do little like filing duties and stuff. That was air conditioned. So during the summertime, that job I did could get pretty uncomfortable. You'd be dripping sweat trying to keep your pace and everything. And it just got very, very hot and uncomfortable. So it was nice to go in and take a minute if you were called into the office to just cool down, you know. But I didn't spend a lot of time in there until my 9-month mark, where the loudspeaker that they announced inside from the air conditioning office, Terri Hardin, come to the front. Terri Hardin, come to the front. And I went to the front and I met the accountant for the company. And I had no idea why I should meet this accountant, but I did. And the accountant looked at me and he said, you know, my life is pretty dull. I'm an accountant. And he said, it was so boring until you came along, meaning me. And he said, he opened this great book, this big book. He unzipped it around all the sides. He opened it like this. And here were all the time cards of all the employees of this carpet cutting company. And he said, my life was just this, you know, dull cards with numbers until you. And he had marked me. He had marked the Terri Hardin section and he flipped it over and this rainbow popped out. And there were all of the cards that I had been illustrating for just under 9 months. And he said, I find myself on the edge of my seat waiting to see what you're going to draw when you do these magical little drawings. I am so, it's changed my life. It's brought great joy to me. I've showed them to my family. I'm so grateful. And the boss thought this was very odd and strange. Be curious, not judgmental. And so the boss during the hot months used to bring me into the office and had me file things so that I could remain cool and comfortable, because it really made his bookkeeper happy and then made him happy. And you never know, just why am I telling you this story? You never know who it's going to touch. And here, my only vision was honestly to get in at 2:44, find my card, and get that $10 because I was on time, you know. But I could have, you know, come in at 2:44. It takes me a couple minutes, and then I'm late. You see, standing there racing. I didn't like that, and so this is how it happened. But there you go. So that started with the Mayor Winningham's work. It's just competition really is a good thing. I think it makes a person better, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Just got home from 2 doctor's appointments, says Grinning Tracy. I will listen to the whole thing later. Missed you all, and I missed you too. And I'm glad you're just coming home from a doctor's appointment. I never knew how large families went to the movies and bought soda, popcorn, snacks. I took my niece and nephew once. It was almost $100 with tickets. Memorable time with the kids, though. Exactly. It's fun, but holy cats, most of it's concessions. And if you're home popping popcorn and you do the math, you go, really, theater? I know if you mark it up 50%, I can expect it, but 85% on the popcorn? Seriously? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just, you know, popcorn that costs $1. If you get the bag, it's like $15. You're like, wow. You know, and then you go, wow, I'm so glad they upgraded. Well, they can and still make money because popcorn is like, you know, it's not expensive. It's just funny. I think that like I said on Friday, this is something to think about as a theater. You're not going to be able to open the doors and come on in at the same prices. I don't think it's going to work. You tell me, you guys, if you go to the movies, if you choose to go to the movies, if you look up what the movie prices are and stuff like that, please share with me in the comments and others, because I'm very curious about if theaters are going to have to do something extra special to get you back in there. I know for me, it was hard enough to get me in there in the first place. So maybe I don't count. I agree with you, Terry. He's definitely been tested. Trial by fire. I would vote for him again. I agree. Me too. Can't shoot the messenger. I mean, you can, but it doesn't do no good. I full disclosure, when I saw him run at first, I thought he was a bit smarmy. I thought he was a bit, was I judging and not being curious? But now when I saw him in the pandemic, he was a dog in the fight, and honestly, guys, he did make the mistake. He did say, I made a mistake, and he came clean. I mean, somebody should have told him that was a really bad move. But like I said, I'm seeing people doing bad moves every day. So, if he just does the one, we got to cut him. Grain of salt. Thank goodness he's taking care of California, because he really has. Some people feel he's being over too controlling, but I'd rather him be overprotective than underprotective Texas. That's all I'm going to say about that. Don't want to get too political. It's not that fun. Okay, so Bonnie says, Galloway method run walk. I have a half I'm training for in September near Mount Rushmore, hoping it still takes place. Oh, it's going to be great. If it's Mount Rushmore, you're going to have a great time. Hopefully they'll allow you to run places that you can't visit as a guest to Mount Rushmore. This is one of the reasons I run walk. I don't really do anybody's method. I have a really amazing coach. And one of the things is that I used to get so sick with respiratory problems, asthma, et cetera, and now I am asthma free. I haven't had it since I was 50. I am now 63. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, so I have to run down hills, okay? I will not run up a hill. I don't even like walking up a hill, but I will run down a hill. I cannot walk down a hill. The method that you're talking about, the Galloway method, I think it's really good, but the problem is it's a certain rhythm and it doesn't take hills into account. So I don't want to be running up a hill, and I don't want to not run down a hill. This is Terri Hardin method, okay? I have one of those watches that beeps. I mean, I have a metronome that goes beep, 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 beep. So my steps per mile are gauged. And then I work to a little metronome that's clipped to my belt. I have a watch that clicks off the miles. And then I walk at the pace based on the steps. And then so I can average, right now I haven't been walking as much, so my mile is probably more like a 15-minute mile. True disclosure, but I can get to where I'm doing a 13-minute mile walking. I'm quite proud of that at 60 years old, 63. And when I was training for my very first marathon, I ran for the first 6 miles in the marathon. My coach could follow me. He was in California while I was in Florida. And you can actually let people track your stuff. So I sent him we connected so that we linked so he could watch me. But I realized after doing the cool thing about doing a half marathon before a full, only one cool thing, since you brought it up, Bonnie, is that it's the same it's the same course. So the first 13 miles is the same. And then you go another 13, right? So the first 13.1, then you do another 13.1, but that first 13.1 is the same. So during the half, I could kind of see where the problem areas were in Disney, during the Disneyland half, mile 2 point something is bad. It's just bad. If you're a slower person, if you're a fast runner, you don't have any problem. If you're back before you left, forget you. You're winning a trophy. You're super fast, whatever. But at Disney, most of us walk to walk. Most of us achieve because we used to be sick and now we're well. We have statements, and most of us are, inches before the balloon ladies who pick us up and don't let us finish. But my point is that the farther back in your corrals you are, the bigger the corrals are, meaning areas that they put you in to wait before you get to be released to run the race. If you're in like 1 through 5, forget about it. But if you're in the ones that are like, I think it's letters. So if you're like A through C, even D, but if you're in I, J, K, because those front ones have like 5 people and the back ones have like 8,000. So it's a big difference once that releases a lot of people. And some people are in it to party, to not really do the race, to pose with the pictures. They don't have a goal, and that's fine too. That's what makes the Disney races so special, because you get all these characters you can pose with, lines you can be in, food you can eat. So you've got things you can do. Even in the Disneyland half, ride a ride or two. But me, it's just about getting A to Z, and I have a pace that I needed to do, especially since it was my first marathon. So I knew in the half where my problem areas were, and one of them was mile 2 point something. And I also do much better in cold weather. It's just my life is happier in cold weather. If it is 60 degrees, aces. 50, 60 degrees, I am so happy you wouldn't even believe it. My poor husband, because we keep the house very cold, and he is good at about 80. So we have this little challenge when it comes to when are we comfortable. I just put on sweaters and let him, put on sweaters when it's cold, or I just take as much as I can. It's hard to take the clothes off. You can only strip down so far to get cooler. Which is why it's my shop. My shop is cold, and I'm wearing the warm stuff, like this scarf here and stuff. But the point is, when running in the morning, it's about 4 a.m., 5 a.m. By the time I hit the track, many of you who run Disney races, it's about 6 a.m. And in Florida, it's a roulette wheel. I was going to say something else, but I'll keep it clean. It's a roulette wheel, and sometimes it can be 75 degrees in Florida. Sometimes it can be a lot warmer. Sometimes it can be 50s. So on this day of the marathon, it was about 50 degrees. So I made the plan during the half that I was going to run at my running pace, jogging pace, if you will, for the first 6 miles, a 10-minute mile. That was my goal. I was going to do a 10-minute mile for the first 6 miles, therefore putting me so far ahead of my time that I needed to finish the marathon that I could walk the rest as long as I stayed focused. Okay, so mile 7 through 20 was going to be way better, because if I got tired, I could slow down. I could slow my stride down. I could do all kinds of stuff. And so I did. But my coach was just about to tell me, "You crazy, stupid girl, what are you doing running the first 6 miles at a 10-minute mile? Okay, why did you pull back? The slowest mile I did for the marathon was 15.5. But I didn't know, because I had never gone that far. And when I trained here, I had some real challenges. So, but once I got there, that way, because Florida gets hotter and it's humid in Florida, and me and humidity do not get along. We don't like each other. So I knew Florida was going to get me because I was not going to be finishing. You start at 6 a.m. You figure 6 a.m. plus 6 hours. If I'm lucky, 6 hours, it's going to be noon. And that's being at a certain pace. But 7 is the cutoff point, okay? Disney picks you up after 7 hours. So I knew I had to be, it was going to be around 1 o'clock, if I left it a hard 6. Now, the good news is, in a Disney race, it's not until the last pair of tennis shoes in the corral does the clock start. So this is why you want to be at the front of those 6 to 8 to 10,000 people in that last or second to last corral, because that buys you an hour, a full hour, pretty much. Yeah, anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour, because it's the last issue before that 7-hour clock starts. But I was very fortunate. I walked the marathon thanks to my coach. I walked the first marathon I ever did in 6 hours, 35 minutes, which I'm very, very proud of, especially after having done a half, a 10, and a 5 days before. So that's what happens. You have to kind of plan. It's not really something you should just put your shoes on and run. However, I did that my first half. That's how I got involved, was I was helping my friend Rachel. She was afraid and scared she couldn't make it. So I became the Tigger that cheered her on, and I hadn't run since I was 7. And I get bit by the bug, and she's really happy. And I'm sure you've seen that picture of both of us crying. That was the Tinkerbell half marathon back in, I think it was 2013. And it was great to be able to help her. She always said she hit a wall at mile 12. So at mile 12, I was being crazy. And that's what I do on all the races. Any race I'm doing, I find people that are really struggling in that last mile, and I really push to cheer them up. Okay. If they're injured, I'm right there. They know their knees hurting or whatever. I just go, let's take it slow. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm all about helping someone else get across. I really am, because it really is a great feeling when you've done these races, and you just don't know if you can do it. And you start to doubt yourself at mile 10, 11, 12. That's when the real scary stuff happens in a half. And I just I was right there, and that's the fun thing for me. Do something for someone else, and you'll feel so much better. And I don't just say that to say that all the time. I say that because it's true. For me, doing that for people in a race, a woman did I did a 10K, and I was with my friends on the 10K for the Dopey Challenge, and they were pretty comfy. They were good. They were good with themselves. And I met this young lady who had this terrified face. And she said, oh my gosh, I've joined the Dopey Challenge and I'm scared. I don't know if I can do this. What was I thinking? And it was the 10K. Okay, so we still had the half and the full to do. She was terrified. She was so scared. And I walked with her. I said, well, why don't we walk together? And I said to her, I said, don't worry about the time on the back of your medal. Okay. A lot of people go, well, how fast did you do it in? And what your answer needs to be, if you do the Dopey Challenge, if you ever decide you want to do the Dopey Challenge, your goal is to finish. Okay. The 5K is a warm up. All right. You don't race the 5K. There is no real time limit on the 5K, because that's called a fun run. It may be different now because I haven't done it once. 2 Dopies in a row was fine. Let's not do any more of those. I've got the medals. Yay for me. I did the inaugural and I did the other one, and then I was done. But why I did it twice, I have no idea. But when I was with this girl at the 10K, I said to her, I said, look, I said, when somebody asks you, how long did it take you to do the races? You say, did I mention I got 6 medals? And if they say, no, but how fast? You say 6 medals. And if they say, how fast? You say, I finished. And if they say, how fast? You say, did I mention 49.6 miles or whatever it is? Okay. Do not let them intimidate you, because you don't have a small number. It's not about the small number, especially in a Disney race. It's about finishing. Okay. It's about finishing. So my dear friend Liz Bradley loves Tinkerbell, and she wanted that medal, but she didn't want to buy it off eBay. She wanted to earn it. Okay. She had never run either. And she worked very, very hard. And all the way up into the race, she was not making her numbers. Her lowest number was 18.5 minute mile. You have to do it in a 17-minute mile, I think is what you have to do. So she had quite a bit, but we all cheered her on. We all kept, and she did not want us to hang back with her. Okay. You get people that are like this. My friend Anita Shingle's the same way. She has a way that she does it, a pace that she does it, and she really would rather you not hang back with her. Okay. If you are faster, she would rather you just go. So when I did a race with Anita in her town, I went, and then I came back and walked with her to the finish. She didn't need me. She was fine. But the point is that, you've got to respect your friends if that's what they want. But Liz was 3 people before the balloon ladies started scooping. And this is a terror when you're at the back of the pack. So we lost track of her for a while, and then finally she came around the corner. By that time, the volunteers are all by themselves. Most people have gone to get a shower, to have some food. There's not many people left when those people at the very back come around. But boy, she got a huge reception when she came around, because this was a big deal for her to have made this line in the sand 1 year earlier and finish this half. Then people sit down. She said, I got to sit down. We're like, no, don't sit down, because there's things you don't do after walking so many miles. And so she said, my feet are tired. So we helped support her, but we cheered as she got her medal, and it was a big deal. The people at the back are the most fun at a Disney race, because they are all trying to accomplish something that means something to them deep in their hearts. They may have lost 100 pounds. They may have never run ever, and then all of a sudden their life changes health-wise. It may be that they're blind. I actually ran with a woman who was blind, and they want to just do it. They just want to do it, and it's just exciting. So I love being at the back. I spend a lot of time back there, telling people you only have so far to go. In the Disneyland half, if you get to mile 12, you're safe, because it's all on Disney property after mile 12. And I really hope we'll get to do them again. But I would say to people, you don't have to push, only push to mile 12. Take a break a little bit at mile 12. The rest is easy. You can moonwalk to the finish line, because it's Disneyland property. It's mostly parking lot, and Disney has control over it. But in Anaheim, we don't have the space that we have at Walt Disney World and the Magic Kingdom. So the city of Anaheim was really very strong about not letting us run past a certain hour. So they cut you off at mile 12 at 1 o'clock, I think it is, or something. So you got to get to that mile 12 so you don't get that thing coming down on you. But anyway, isn't this something, Bonnie, that your Galloway message made this boom, I actually rode with Galloway during I was about to do I said, I'm doing the Dopey Challenge. It's my first Dopey and my first marathon. Any advice? And Galloway said, don't be stupid and don't get hurt. Pace yourself. And it was great advice. My coach myself was, he did the same thing, but it was great to hear it from Galloway, who does these all the time. He's saying the same thing. 'Cause you get hurt, you're hosed, right? You run on a 5K and you hit that area by where those nasty drinks are, that nasty sodas are, and it's wet, raining. It was raining this day. People were slipping and falling on their shoulders, hitting their heads and stuff. You're hosed, and it's on a 5K. Come on, don't do that to yourself. Wendy says, standing at the gates will be the easy part. Waiting in a waiting room online for hours would be the worst. A lot of anxiety for me. I may wait too. Well, yeah, because I'm gonna still be. It's not like, Leslie Smith says she's very excited. She lives alone. She doesn't have any high risk people around her, so she wants to go in the park because 15% capacity will be heaven. Be like grad night. Have you ever done a grad night? It's so fun. And when you do a grad night, it's like being in the park by yourself, because you're overnight. So I hear what Leslie's saying, and that can be very fun if you've never done it before. I've done it before. So as an Imagineer, I have that opportunity here, and had that opportunity. So it's good to let others have that opportunity. I'm not bragging and going, yeah. What I'm saying is, it's a good reason for me to wait too. Okay, is to let people get in at the 15%, see what it's like. It's fun. And to see what that distancing is, and to see how things go, I think that's going to be cool too. But I will wait as well, because I want others to do it. So I'm with you, Wendy. Don't get me in a bookstore or record store either. Yeah. In fact, I just picked up a wonderful book, and it's just because it caught my eye and I had to have it. And that's the thing, I love books. They're the one thing that I have such a hard time parting with. I'm going to have to get with, Michael told me that he got someone that I can get a document together and have it signed with a collection, a company that can then take my collection after I've passed and distribute it or sell it and then get the money to somebody. So that's going to be lovely. That's going to be lovely. It's hard though, isn't it? Yeah, books mean so much to me. I love the feel of them. I love the sound of them. I can't do it on a Kindle or an iPad. It's just not the same. Love the smell of them. X-Files was a great show. Yes, Deanna. It was. And so now seeing her as Margaret Thatcher in The Crown is like, wow. She did it. Yeah, see, Rose says, I miss hugging my children. When you're all vaccinated and you've waited that 15 days, guess what you all get to do? Hug your kids, kiss your kids, no mask, no social distancing. It's going to be a red letter day. The world is going to be crying all over, isn't it? When that happens, it's going to be the cry that heard all over the world. Isn't that exciting? We might actually fix the drought from all the crying we're doing. I love you. I love you. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be so fun. So this is why I wanted to talk about it today, is this, get lost COVID, because it's going to be so fun. It's going to be so fun. I can't wait. I can't wait. But, I'm so excited. Rose says she gets her second one on March 27th. Good for you. Then 15 days. Then you guys can hug every other day, every other time you want. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Time, Terri Hardin, no way. No way nursing home. It's not possible. No way a nursing home. It's not possible. LOL. Yeah. So it's great. I send her donuts every couple of weeks. My dad was like, I gotta take your mother donuts. I said, I did it last week. Did you eat them up already? I figure once you're 80, and I've said this before, once you hit 80 years old, you can eat whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You feel like farting in public, your business. You're an old person. You've done your time, right? Have fun, whatever that is to you. Go for it, baby. I'm in your corner. Deanna says, that's awesome about time cards. Yeah, I know, right? And it's just Terri trying to beat that system again. Okay, I want that $10 and I don't want to go into work early. How can we make these two meet? As Bugs Bunny says, I'm such a stinker. I am too. Being around me, what can I say? I am. I'm really a sneaker. That's a cool story. You made him so happy. Yeah. And it's funny because you don't think about it. Like I said, I was thinking about me. Okay. Narcissistically speaking, how can I get that $10, that extra $20 per week? Big deal back then. Still a big deal though today. And beat the system a little bit. So yeah, I'm a stinker. What can I say, Rose Burdine? Grinning Tracy says, at the office I worked where they would give the boring big white desk calendar, where they would give the big in January 1st, would take it home and draw, color, sketch, through, and theme each month. Made desk work happier. Indeed. Foster Farms, which those of you in California may remember the Foster Farms chickens. I designed and created those originally. For a shop called the Character Shop with Rick Lazzarini. And then later, Rick Lazzarini took those designs and elaborated upon them. That's the wonderful thing about collaboration. So I didn't design every character, but I designed the original concept art for them and the original concept for the birds. And Rick came in and made them walk and made them ride a bicycle. They do all kinds of cool stuff. They are so doggone funny. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in them. They are wonderful, lovely, lovely characters and fabulous characters. They used to make a calendar that was 3 months. It hung attached together so you could have last month, this month, next month, big. And then they stopped producing them. Broke my heart. I love that tiered calendar. So you don't have to do this. You can kind of arrange it how you want. Some people may want to go the current month, the next month and the next month and ahead, or maybe they want to see the last 2 months and the current month. I really liked last month, current month, future month. I just loved it. And my best friend in Indiana, she had one too. She had found a 3-tiered one. Those 3-tiered calendars are just genius. And they're so much fun for us that work and still love paper, which would be me. The phone is okay, but I like paper, okay? I like to say to someone, let me just take a minute because I belong to the Universal City North Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. And when we used to sit in the office, they used to say, it would really be great if you could, Terri, donate some, put some of your time in. And I did the best I can. I absolutely do the best I can. But February, this is what February looks like. I would say I'm a little busy. I'm sorry, but I'm a little busy. Okay. This is March. And that's January right there. So see, still busy. February busy. And March is a little lighter, but this is where we are now compared to there. And I hadn't filled everything in. But my point is, I want to look at it this fast. I don't want to do this. And this is because I'm old school. I mean, I have to do it like that. But it really works with new school people because you show it on a phone, it doesn't look. But you show it here and they see how much writing you have on there. And they're like, oh my goodness, you are seriously busy. Yes, I'm seriously busy. I'm not making it up. Not telling you I don't want to help you, but I have a lot of stuff. And I have not put the rest in there. So I get super busy and it's got to be in something that I can open up this fast and do it. So paper is my jam. Okay, about it. So like you, Tracy, I feel the same way. It's got to have it all over. I have a calendar over here across from me that has my projects. So when do the ghosts need to be delivered? Who gets the ghosts when they're delivered? When do I have to have the fillers, the linings for the ghosts? When is my manufacturer coming, delivering me more ghosts, etc.? That's all over here on a calendar. So I love to just be able to, at a glance, the computer thing doesn't, and no. It doesn't work. It's there if I'm away and I need to look it up, but it's not my number one spot. I like the paper. I did the 12K Big Sur International Marathon 2019, says Bonnie. Hills, hills, hills. LOL. Mount Rushmore is supposed to be considered difficult as well. Excited but nervous. Napa Half was rolling hills and much nicer. There's one I'm trying to remember, Bonnie, that you would really like. I think it's Forest to the Surface to the City to the Sea, something like that. You start in the forest and you run to the ocean and it's all downhill. Yeah, it's really nice. A friend of mine who wanted to train for the Boston Marathon, you have to have a certain time limit in order to qualify to submit for the Boston Marathon if you don't live in Boston. And that, of course, is the big kahuna of races. He did that race. That's one of the races he did, was that one that's like all downhill. It's really neat. Really a fun race. And his time was seriously good. His time is seriously good anyway. I mean, if you're thinking about Boston, your time is seriously good. But I just think about Boston and wish I was in Boston so I could run Boston, because if you live in Boston, you get to run it, whatever. But if you are a guest from other states, you have to have qualifying. This year, I hear it's going to be a little different, and a lot of marathoners are like, "What? What do you mean it's different? Don't award it to everybody." And I kind of am with them on that because, competition is good and it lets runners strive for the big stuff, right? It's very cool. I'm not a hills person. Okay. So my friend, Anita Shingle, bless her heart. She really wanted to do the flying pig. The flying pig cheats. Okay. I'm just going to tell you. The Flying Pig race, which is cute. It's got cute logo, got great medals. Their medals are absolutely off the chain. If I can find mine, I'll show it to you. But we did this. And the problem is, see, I'm about, if the hill goes up like this, it's got to come down like this, okay? Because I want to run down it. And that flying pig would cheat me every time. It would take me up a hill I really hated in humidity, and it would go like this. It would go, instead of going straight down like this, it went, and I just wanted to. So I would run and stop, and it was not cool. I really didn't like that race at all. I finished it, but I wasn't a fan. So now I do the half marathon with her. I think it's the Air Force half. We like the Air Force half, mostly flat, like 90% flat, and you run through the base. Okay. And I thought it was going to be very interesting because when I did it as a marathon because I thought we were going to see planes and cool. I love planes and helicopters and things. They didn't have any. It was really boring. It was awful. But the half marathon was really cool. You run through the residential areas of the Air Force, and there's a particular family during the Air Force half marathon that makes bacon. Oh my God. Oh, so delicious. You smell that bacon, and it's at I want to say mile 10. And you smell it, and your whole body just gets, it's just, Anita and I can tell you, it's one of the greatest things. Your tears come out of your eyes because this family must cook pounds and pounds of bacon, and they give it to all the runners. And when we get to that bacon station, we are crying. We are, oh my God, it's bacon! It's just a joy. I love doing the Air Force half marathon because what also happens is the half marathon and the marathon come together at, I think it's mile 25. So it's mile 24 or 25 for the marathoners. And for us, it's mile 11 or 12. Okay. So what happens is the marathoners are going off doing their thing. And then we merge together to do the final miles, all of us together, the marathoners and the half marathoners. And what happens is you see a lot of these half marathoners that are just they're on their last legs. Some of them are just, so I turned around and ran backwards and said, all right, this is just not fair that you look so good and you've run twice as far as I have. What's the deal? And they would laugh, because I'm running backwards and they're running forwards and I'm at mile 12, but I'm just teasing, that's not fair, and I met this one guy and he was just exhausted and he was like, I don't know if I can make it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? What are you at mile 25? You're going to quit now? What? No, let me help you. Let's do this together. Let me just talk to you and tell you, how is it you could go this far? What is it about you? And I would say, let me tell you a story. And I tell you a story about, I just love doing these races, and it's because I had asthma and I'm you know me, you've seen it right here. What hour are we at? 3 hours and 10 minutes. And I got him across. He would listen to the stories. I'd get him across. He's wrapped in the silver reflected blanket, and he pointed and he said, I don't even know her name, but she helped me get across and get my medal. So like I said, do something for someone else. Just be about that all your life. Look for those opportunities where you can help somebody else. And it helped me get across because there was my goal, get this guy across. He had run so much further than me. And now he was not sure he could make it. And I just made him laugh and talked with him and stuff. And it was super cool. So really, really, really fun. So don't be nervous, Bonnie. One foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. This is what I did. Little to the left, little to the right. Just keep swimming. And then when we did our 10K at Knott's Berry Farm, we started a chant, boysenberry, a la mode, boysenberry, a la mode, because at the end of the race, you got their famous boysenberry pie. So just made all kinds of fun little things like that. So, hopefully you will have someone there to chant you through. No one can imagine running in Florida at that temperature. It's insane. And I did it twice. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. Yeah. Glad I have the medals, but not planning on doing it. I love the wine and dine when it was at night, because for someone in California, we started it at, when did we start it? It would end at 10 or something. 11, and it was like 7 back in California. So I was like, yeah. And it was at night, no sun. Oh, love that race. But they started to have too many thunderstorms in November. It was always in November around the wine and dine. And they just couldn't do it. So they put in the daytime, which ended my wine and dine days for racing because I really loved it. It was a night race and I just loved that race. It was really good for Florida. But no, it's not fun. And you have to really make sure you hydrate a lot more than normal. If you're someone who has a reaction to humidity, which I do, everything swells up. So it just, my body hates humidity. So people go, move to Florida. I'm like, oh, hell no, because I'll never see the outdoors. So awesome. Thank you, Bonnie. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Someone talked me into it and I said yes before I knew what I was saying. Love this story. Thank you for sharing. I couldn't run one lap on a track a few years ago, says Bonnie. It was so difficult, and I remember being emotional with my first 5K. Exactly, Bonnie. So my friend Rachel, she was very heavy, and she found a way to drop some of the weight. And in the 5K, much like you, she had these challenges as well. And what would happen was that her daughter and her husband would run ahead, finish the 5K, and wait for her at the finish line as she did it at her own pace. And it took a while for her to do it. And then she drew a line in the sand. And like you, she did the same thing. One lap until she got good. And she finally added to it like you're talking about. So I got up at 4 a.m. to cheer her on, did not run the race. 4 a.m. at Disneyland while she did her 5K, and she crossed for the first time in the history of her and her family. She ran the 5K or walked the 5K, walked the 5K, did the 5K, holding hands with her family the whole way and made it. So it was emotional. We were crying. Everybody was so beyond happy because it's a huge accomplishment, isn't it, Bonnie? It's something that's a big deal. Some of these people don't realize that a 5K for so many is a huge milestone in their lives. And that's why I like to stay till the end, because the people at the back are the ones that are really that pull your heartstrings. I mean, that's the part and it's the same with a marathon. It's the same with the half. It might be fun to see the people at the front, but it's a lot more fun to see the people at the back because they've got some real, Anita, who runs a 5K, 10K, she does them almost every week. She's so happy. She's lost over 100 pounds. She's a rock star, in my opinion. She did her first 13 miles and she was scared to death. So I sat her down and gave her some tips and said, I'm going to make this formulaic for you. You got to eat. You got to eat. You got to eat. You eat these little cubes or you drink this little liquid, whatever, if you're someone who doesn't want to eat, carry a bunch of food around your waist, but you've got to eat, and you've got to eat and hydrate regularly throughout. They're very good about having you hydrate on these races, but you've got to eat as well. And I have this problem too. I tend not to eat. And so my coach broke it down into these little cubes that you can eat. They're like a gelatin cube. How many I had to eat per mile in order to make sure I had the energy to finish the marathon. Because in the beginning, you may not eat, but that's when you can hit a wall at mile 20, mile 21, mile 22, if you're trying to get through a marathon. And a half, it can do the same to you at mile 11, mile 12. And it's really upsetting if you all of a sudden hit this wall and you cannot break through it. It's like walking through molasses. Yeah. So that's the situation about that. And I help you get through it as much as I could if I know you or if you're someone I come across. But with Anita, that's what I said. Anita, just make sure you hydrate and make sure you go to the bathroom, because I got some people that refuse to go to the bathroom. And my coach said, if you let that build up, it starts to have a negative effect. It starts to have, because going to the bathroom, besides helping your bladder feel good, guys, and I know this is kind of a weird running talk, it helps get rid of the poisons you are generating through the act of going so far. Those build up in your legs, in your knees, in every part of your body. So you have to eliminate on a regular basis so that those toxins don't build up in your system. Real, seriously, I'm so real on this. Okay. It was something that I did. Your time is good. You're looking at your watch. You're going, wow, my average miles are good and everything. I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. Stop. Go to the bathroom, then get back on track. Okay. You will find you do it 100%. I will knock on wood. I have not ever hit a wall because I listened to what my coach said and it really works. So stop reinventing the wheel. Don't, if you're someone who can finish the race in 4 hours, okay, or you finish the 5K before you start it, you don't have to worry about hydrating or eating, do you? Because you're fast. But I'm talking about you people who have something that you want to prove to yourself, something you want to accomplish. This is on your bucket list, okay? The medal means more than clink, 133. Not that it's not important to you if you're fast. But understand if you're slow, there's a lot riding on that slow, okay? There's a lot riding on that because I'm telling you, the stories are a lot heavier, is all. And you don't want to cheat yourself out of it. So eat, hydrate, go to the bathroom. Okay. I know this is a silly thing to say, but I've got a few runners who just wouldn't do it. And then they get sick and they wonder why they're not feeling good, or they hit this wall. Their legs start to atrophy. Their legs start to freeze up. You cannot force that which will not move. Eat. Okay. I can't say it enough. I'm amazed at some of the people that I helped. And what I would do is I have a protein, a straight drink that is liquid protein, and I mix it up and it tastes like chocolate and whatever. And I would get water and feed it to people who I saw hitting a wall, and they would just go, no, I don't want to eat. No, I don't want to drink this. And they would drink it, and then they would go, oh my God, I feel so much better. And they'd get across. Seriously. Some of them would do PR, which is a personal best record. Yeah. So you got to do it, guys. It just messes with everything. And I'm someone who knows this because it's something that I tend to do and I shouldn't. So that's it. So hydrating helps to keep you from swelling when you don't like humidity, Bonnie. I have compression. I have compression everything because of the way that the humidity messes with my body. So I have compression gloves. I have compression wrists. I have compression ankles, compression legs, compression knees, compression pants, compression shirt, everything. So that swelling does not mess with me because of the humidity. If I'm going to run in Florida, it's quite hilarious. It's a lot harder than a mask and social distancing. I'm just saying. Can you coach and cheer me on my next dopey walk to my bathroom? Says Tracy. Go, girl, go. You got this. Woohoo! Do you get a medal? Tracy, you're so funny. You're so funny. I just got my box, says Deanna. You had the wrong address again. You put 1023 instead of, you know what? Can you check? Because I think I got it, Deanna, from the patron page. So I'm going to make a note of it, but I'm going to have to change it. It's 1204. Okay. I think it's on. Can you check on your Patreon? Because I think that's where I got it. If it's right, but I've got that now. I'm going to go change it as soon as we're done. Deanna. Dr. D. Okay. Got to fix that because, I'm sending you valuable stuff, huh? Do you like the shoes? Pin is so much better in person. Thank you. The shoes are wonderful too. So Deanna is on Patreon, and I did a guessing contest on the pin, and many people guessed the pin that I was doing, and I sent it to them on the Patreon page. And then also I do treasure chests or giveaways here and there on that page as well. So you get a lot for your $5 a month. I'm just saying, you really do. Besides the joy and the camaraderie, which is the best part, isn't it, Deanna? Yeah, I'll fix that. I thought masks would still be needed even with the vaccine. Yes, they are. But here's what's happening, Bonnie. You get vaccinated, then you got to wear your mask for 15 days. Then on the weekend, which is why I like to watch the news on Friday, because they have all the juicy stuff about COVID on it. When COVID was doing these super lockdowns, that was the day you really got the big information. And now that it's opening up, that's the day that they open the toolbox and really let you know the good stuff. One of the things that they pointed out was that people who are vaccinated can now get together inside a household, small groups, no masks, no social distancing, and love on each other. And it's family members. They're saying mostly family members, you know. So grandparents can hug their grandkids, grandkids can hug their grandparents, parents can hug their children. And Bonnie, like I said, the way they illustrated it was they had a couple, they were not in their 90s, and they were waiting. They filmed them waiting anxiously to see their kids, and their kids were in their 60s like me. And the 90-year-old father just started crying because he said, I was afraid they might die alone and I couldn't be with them, which so many suffered from that. And this virus was that when a person died, they didn't have people with them, but the frontline responder. You know, they didn't have family with them. And a lot of times when you're in the hospital, if you've ever been, the healing process leans a lot on family members that help you get through it, keeping your mind right and keeping you upbeat. So I can't imagine being trapped in a hospital knowing you're dying and not having that link, that contact. So that's really hard. So to see this 90-year-old man say he was so excited because he got to hug his son, and his son is like 63, 65, 67, whatever he was. You know, it would have been cool to see it, and we'll see it. We're going to see it, guys. We're going to see adults hug their little kids. But it really drove home. I thought it was really smart on the people who did the story about doing it this way, because it's very strong. It's very powerful. So yeah, we will need them, Bonnie, but only for a short time. If we all behave ourselves, we'll soon be hugging and everybody, and pretty soon they'll say you don't have to worry about it anymore. Terri can go hug Bonnie. Bonnie can come hug Terri. We can go and see each other at California Adventure. Even if we don't go to California Adventure or Disneyland, we can meet at Downtown Disney without worrying about some idiot. You know what I mean? We can go places and meet. Yeah, I can have breakfast in one of my favorite places and not make sure the table is 8 foot apart, and I don't have to worry about that Yahoo over there who's not paying attention at all. Yeah, see what I mean? The shoes fit great. Deanna, you've got the best feet in town. I'm just saying. You know, you have got the best feet in town. If I got to tell you, because these shoes are kind of narrow that I give away, and her feet are perfect. They fit her great. You need to model them, Deanna. You need to take a picture of your feet and show some of the shoes and post them, would you? Post them publicly and on our private page for the tribe. But I'd love to see your feet in them, darling. Even if you got them up on a Barcalounger and you've got them crossed or whatever. Yeah, do me that favor, would you? I would love that. That's just amazing. And finally, hugs and leaves. See you all on Zoom. Yeah, Zoom is 11 o'clock for those of you who want to be a part of the Patreon group. We have talked longer today. Me, 3 hours and 25 minutes. That's because, and you guys, you know, you're starting to really comment a lot. So I think what I'm going to do is shorten a little bit the opening with the announcements and storytelling and jump to the comments sooner, because we're really entertaining each other. I don't know how you feel about it. Post in the comments what you think. But if I have news of the world to tell you, I will. But honestly, I think I'm going to intersperse it with your comments, because I'm so touched and love what you're saying and how you're responding and how you're sharing. And if you're just listening and you can respond, please do, because I love to hear what you have to say. If you're seeing it after, my name is Terri Hardin. I'm Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer. And please talk to me in the comments. I love to hear what you have to say and what you think. I will see you Wednesday on Zoom if you are a patron. And Friday, I will keep you posted, because I may just take that day off to be with my husband. In this time of pandemic, I tend to not rest so good. So I'm thinking I might, or is it so well? And I need to do it. You've seen that when I get a little tired, I get people like Ethan Hawke and James Franco mixed up. How is that even possible? Two amazing actors, but I managed to do it. If I can do this, you can do this, okay? Cheryl says, thank you, Terry. Thank you, Cheryl. Wendy says, hugs and kisses. Same to you. Angie says, love that idea. Chit chat with Terry. You got it. We will be getting together in person, both as patrons and as a group. I would love to do this. It may not happen at Disneyland, but I think it could happen at Downtown Disney. Okay. Once we're vaccinated and we're feeling safe, we can always agree to meet at Disneyland. We'll see. Okay. I really love the parking pass I had with my pass to Disneyland, my annual pass. I loved that I had parking and I had the annual pass admission. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see how things work. I can't wait to hear what Disney has to say. And we will talk more soon. See you Wednesday. Love you guys. Take care. Do something nice for someone else. It'll make you feel so much better. I think I've illustrated some things you can do today that don't cost money. All right. Love you a bunch.